What up, what up? This is David from the 5-6 Kings. And guys, like, they're fucking with me at this point. Like, there's no other way to describe it. Subway is just fucking with me. You know, because last week we talked about how it's Steph Curry, and he's like, I don't have time for this ad. And Serena Williams like, oh, I'm going to take it from here. Look at this old chef. I'm Serena Williams. Go eat at Subway. Now Serena's like, oh, yeah, there's so much. Let me kick it to the pink-haired soccer girl who we've seen before. I was like, yeah, whatever. Got to get bang for your buck. Have the pink-haired soccer girl in there. Definitely. Tony Hawk didn't make a fucking appearance for some reason, but that's neither here nor there. And then at the end, Tom Brady's just like, oh, man. Dude, fucking Tom Brady. He's in front of a Subway, and he's like, man, this new Italian bread is amazing. And Steph Curry comes in with a great line. He goes, Tom, you don't eat bread. Because Tom Brady doesn't. And Tom Brady doesn't say fucking, but he's like, Steph, it's a fucking commercial. Come on, man. No one cares if I eat the bread. I care if you eat the bread, Tom Brady. I live, eat, sleep, breathe Subway sandwich shop. It is my life, Tom Brady. And you're coming and you're like, I don't even fucking eat this shit. But you should go buy it because I'm Tom Brady and I'm telling you to. Fuck you, Tom Brady. TB12. Like, it is baffling to me. Subway's like, we're going to have everyone knows he's not eating fucking Subway. Everyone knows he's not touching it. Everyone knows the 5-6 Kings can't get enough of Subway. You got the new fucking steak seasoning for your steak and cheese. The bread's amazing. The turkey, oh my God, guys, the turkey is so thin. Like, if you haven't been to Subway since they've done this, you will not believe how thin this turkey is. Tom's not experiencing any of that shit. Subway paid Tom Brady millions of dollars to say, I don't eat this shit. Get the fuck out of my face. And Subway, you're better than that because you're good enough for Tony Hawk. And you're good enough for everyone listening to this show. Fuck Tom Brady. Eat fresh. Subway, please give us money.
This the Palm Beach County anthem. All my Palm Beach County niggas, y'all put them fucking guns in there and bust them shit. Bitch, I'm from Palm Beach County, that's where I'm from. When niggas get gunned down and left slung from, I'm just for fucking round. This ain't a county for you bitches to come around.
What up, and welcome to another episode of the 5-6 Kings podcast. I'm David Bream. With me, as always, Braden Bullard. Braden, how are you, man?
What up? I'm doing pretty good, David. I'm pretty hyped to go over this movie today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. It's an interesting week.
Yeah?
You know, I got wilderness first aid certified.
Really?
Through the Florida Outdoor Academy.
Seriously?
Shout out to Florida Outdoor Academy, yeah.
What did that entail?
Entailed, like, I got to clear people's spines. Fucking, yeah, make sure they're good. Check
Really?
for blood. Check for crumpling.
Shit.
If someone's crumpling, that's no good.
What's crumpling?
If their hips are fucking dislocated, stuff like that. Chest is caving in.
Or you just pull on the feet, try to realign the hips?
No. The hips are fucked. We leave it. Learn how to. Oh, I can reset, dude. If you're like shin bone pops out, I got you. I'm resetting that shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah. So like I wouldn't feel super comfortable doing it, but
I'm
good.
If I ever get really injured, I'm calling you immediately. And if there's a doctor, I'm going to say no.
David Breen is wilderness first aid certified.
David's doing it. I only trust David. I don't trust you.
As well you should.
How much experience do you have? 8 years of a degree? No. I need Breenster here.
Took a 2-day class.
Yeah.
He's ready.
Yeah. I trust him. He's a king.
Yeah. But that was pretty cool. And then yesterday, I was cooking in my apartment, and I was doing a burger.
Nice.
I was making some Velveeta shells. They were on sale.
Okay.
So I had them on the stove.
All right.
Burger on my Foreman grill.
Okay.
These are like over different areas.
I like that.
And then my microwave's on top of the fridge. And I had like a frozen, like a bird's eye, like steamed broccoli. Just throwing it in there and microwaving it.
And then you started an oil fire.
So no, but everything just shut off.
Oh.
That was too much. Too much going on. So I did it all on the stove, but I texted Jim, who lives in apartment 1 and works in the key.
Yeah.
He's like the maintenance guy there too.
Yeah.
Text him. I was like, hey, the breaker flipped off. We go switch it back. And he's like, yeah, I'll be there in 10 minutes. So some time goes by. I made everything. I ate. I'm now changing. And I have my window open. Because when I cook, I like to let everything go out.
Yeah.
And Jim just walks up, peeks in the window, and goes, hey, Dave, everything back on? And like I don't know why I didn't say anything to him. But I just kind of walked up and got, like, up against my front door and stuck my head in the window, and he and I were having a conversation face to face. And I'm just butt-ass naked. He has no idea. He's just, like, poking his head in my window. He and I are face to face with each other. The rest of my body's over on the side.
And then if he noticed...
And he was... Yeah, had he noticed, he'd be like, hey, why the fuck would you say something?
No, I was going to say, if he noticed that your fire was running low and then brought in wood... Would you find that weird?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's the relationship Jim and I have.
Oh, all right.
I expect him to bring wood.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But no, like, if at any point, because we talked for a full minute, if at any point in that he realized I was naked, it is my fault at that point. Because he's just like, dude, why? We've been talking. Like, why didn't you cover up or say something?
Well, you think that's where he's going to go? What if he's like, what if he takes it to the extreme?
Best case scenario.
Oh, yeah.
Best case scenario.
Why don't you go and let me in, David, if you're going to...
So he did ask. He was like, maybe, like, are there other outlets over there? I was like, I'm fine.
It's okay.
He's like, what do you mean you're fine? Like, I'm not always going to be here, man. I was like, yeah, it's okay.
No, I'm
all right.
I insist. Just let me in.
But, yeah.
Nice.
Anything happened to you this week?
Oh, man. No, I would say the craziest thing that happened to me this week, the most surprising thing, was driving home the other night from watching the UFC fights where Lewis lost. But after that, I'm on my way home, and I'm driving down Burns, and there's a fucking Little League.
Shout out to Burns Road.
Yeah, shout out to Burns Road. There's a fucking Little League boys baseball game literally happening at 1 a.m. Like, full on. Like, umpires, fucking... families, the lights on, everything. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? 1 a.m.? Like, I understand maybe it was raining, maybe they had a tournament, maybe they had a reschedule, but it's like, you're going to reschedule for 1 fucking a.m.? It's going to throw everyone's sleep off.
I think you had too many Shirley Temples. I don't think that was real.
I swear to
I
God. I got video of it.
I think Shirley Temple got in your head.
I had to take a video of it because it was just so weird. I've never seen something like that before. Have you ever played baseball at 1 a.m.?
Every day.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Never.
I was going to say, why have you never invited me?
Yeah, but every night I'm over at Burns Road. I'm at least doing batting practice.
Yeah, right? Gotta chop down and meet it. Am I right, David?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you swing. If you guys if you didn't know how to swing a baseball bat, you got to chop down and meet the ball.
Did you stick around for the game?
I should have showed up.
You
I should have parked, walked up, and just started cheering. Had all the parents looking at me like, who the fuck is this random dude showing up to my fucking boys baseball game at 1 a.m.? And then actually questioned me. And I'm just like, hey, I was just driving by, saw it, just thought I'd,
Big fan of the sport. I love the game.
Anyone got some popcorn?
Love that we're getting kids to play.
Hey, what the fuck was that? Sorry, like, really. It might be 1 a.m., but wake those fucking eyes up. Like spitting fucking. But yeah, so guys, I don't know if you were tuning into last week. You better have. You fucking better have. But if you did, then you would know that we're going over the movie Brothers, 2009, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Natalie Portman, bunch of
Tobey Maguire, bunch of really good A-list actors. And yeah, let's dive into it, David. What do you want to start with? You want to start with awards? I think we do budget reviews.
You want to do budget?
Budget reviews, awards.
Cool, yeah. So actually, let me ask you, what do you think the budget was? Let's just take a guess really quick. What would you guess the budget is?
So this was post Spider-Man, post Brokeback Mountain.
So they're in their careers.
Pre Black Swan, Natalie Portman though.
True, but Star Wars. She was in Star Wars.
I'm gonna guess. I don't know, like $20 million.
That was actually a good guess. It was $26 million. The budget was.
Go.
Yeah. So fuck. I'm actually a little surprised by that. But it makes sense because the majority of that budget probably went to paying the actors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no like special effects where I was like even when it was war shit, I was like, it kind of sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't like crazy, yeah. But their gross was $43,474,000.
There we go.
Yeah, good. You know,
Getting
double
their money
money
back plus another $17 million.
Yeah,
there we go.
For something that wasn't. It wasn't like it was like high risk probably for the production company, like that. So good for them. Yeah.
Sam Harris got paid $2 million to play Grandpa.
Really?
Yeah. That's his quote. If he gets another movie, they got to pay him another $2 million.
Are you serious?
Even if he sucks.
No.
That means if he's offered just one more movie, he's guaranteed at least $2 more million.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah. Because that's his quote. This is all. I have no idea what Sam Harris made for this.
Yeah, well,
This is I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
Great sketch comedy show on Netflix.
I would assume he made
That's
a couple
one of them.
$100,000 or something. So, little fun fact.
Sam Shepard, not Sam Harris. I'm very sorry, Sam Shepard.
Yeah, what the fuck, David?
Who is Sam Harris?
Little fun fact.
No, keep talking. I'm going to find out who Sam Harris is, though.
Okay, fun fact though. Since we're talking about the actors and the time, when they were in the career, I think goes with it. Jake Gyllenhaal learned of the death of his close friend Heath Ledger while he was in the middle of shooting a scene for this film. Gyllenhaal immediately walked off set and returned to finish the scene 2 days later. He then took a longer time of absence before he was ready to continue with the rest of his scenes. Damn.
Fucking Jake Gyllenhaal, man.
Man, Heath Ledger. R.I.P., man.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
That was the love of his life. That's the first dude he ever fucked.
Yeah.
And he's like, now he's dead?
So soon.
What's this all about?
Yeah. Do you think it had to...
Sam Harris is an author, and I don't read enough to know why that name sticks out to me.
You just have really good memory. That's one thing I'm very fond of you, David. You have just fucking fantastic memory. Even though you messed up that name, you're remembering someone that you barely remember.
I'm replacing the great Sam Shepard with him,
All right, let's go over ratings. Let's go over these ratings. So, IMDb gave it a 7.1 out of 10. Yeah, it's a pretty good rating. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 64%, and Metacritic gave it a 58%. Now, Google users gave it
a 90.
83. Honestly, this might be one of the highest rating films that we've done so far. Like all around between Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic and IMDb and Google. I mean, it's pretty up there.
No way.
You don't think? Like what other, maybe Alpha Dog or something?
I was thinking American Gangster.
Or American Gangster.
American
for sure.
Gangster would have got some.
Yeah, American Gangster definitely got better on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. But usually Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic is pretty harsh. So 64%, not bad.
What'd you think of this?
I give it a 6.4. 6.4. I think like it was really well done. I think
so better than Fear.
Yeah, because I gave Fear a 6.1.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit better than Fear. Marky Mark was he was great, but come on, Jake Gyllenhaal, Tobey Maguire, Natalie Portman. No disrespect, Mark. I think it was good. I think that they hit everything on the mark, everything on the ball. Like the acting, the directing, everything that was the editing, everything was done very well. I just wish that they would have done more with the storyline. I felt like they could have done more in general, but for what it was done pretty well.
I agree. I give it a 6. I felt like it should have been 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I think if it was, because we're 14 minutes into it, and spoiler alert, we're 14 minutes into it, and Tobey Maguire's helicopter goes down in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And I didn't give a shit about Tobey Maguire yet.
Exactly, yeah.
Like they hadn't done enough for me to really care that all this is going on.
And another very small spoiler, and his buddy too. So,
which buddy?
Well, the buddy that's
the guy with him.
Yeah, the buddy that survived. So
yeah.
two people survive out of the helicopter crash. But the thing is they didn't build that up at all to give more importance to want you to care about Toby or him, like the partner, as much.
Yeah.
And yeah, because then we'll
Which,
get
and
into that,
and that's what up to that point, that's what this whole movie's banking on.
Yeah, exactly.
They're hoping like you fucking love Tobey Maguire right now,
And that you want
You're
to
gonna
see him
devastated
succeed.
that
Yeah.
this is happening.
And what I assumed was going to happen with some of the characters' development did happen. And I think it's very smart the way that they – I don't want to, like, spoil anything, but I think they did a really good job with this way that almost like the characters change.
Like Gyllenhaal and Toby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over time, you know.
Yeah.
And the way that they correlate that with the story, I think just
and the
goes great.
daughters, like that. Yeah.
Oh, dude. The daughters, let me say really quick, the two actresses, they fucking phenomenal.
The older daughter was amazing.
Amazing. I think she
really
won,
good.
I think she might have won an award. We're going to get into
let's
that.
talk awards.
Yeah. but for sure, she is like acclaimed as one of probably the best child actresses, I think, of like all time for some of her performances. Which we are talking about, I think it's Mare Winningham. Is that her? Yeah, Elsie, right? No?
Bailey Madison.
Bailey Madison?
Mare Winningham. That's Jake Gyllenhaal and Tobey Maguire's dad's wife.
Yeah.
They're stepmom. Dude, just look at the picture.
No, I didn't see the picture. I was going off the name. Yeah.
You can see in the picture.
I thought
she's clearly an old woman.
Yeah. No. Now I see it. Yeah. But I thought it was the daughter's name was Elsie for some reason.
It's Isabel. They called her Izzy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
Elsie.
I thought you looked at the picture
No,
over there, and I was like, "You're out of your mind."
No.
Okay.
No. I just the names. Yeah. But so yeah, she did fucking phenomenal. So good for her. Really good for her. I mean, all the actors. But for her age and for like so much of the movie and the other roles depended upon her.
Yeah.
And did fucking great.
Yeah, she hit it out of the park.
Yeah. She hit it out of the park.
And to quote Braden, like looking at her picture now, she's a baddie. She's like 20,
I don't have her picture, so
she's like 22 now, but she's a baddie, bro.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, okay. So let's get to the awards. So they have 4 wins and 16 nominations. I think we maybe just go over the wins. I don't know, 16 nominations.
Let's go over the wins. I want you to use your judgment. And if there's a fun nomination,
I'll go over some of them.
Like the Chainsaw Awards, worst movie. If there's a fun one like that to reference it. But if it's like, I saw like U2, the song they did was nominated for awards and shit like that.
Yeah, well, here's a good nominee. For the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films.
Exactly.
They were nominated for Best Action Adventure Thriller Film, which I don't understand as much about that. But Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Performance by a Younger Actor. So Tobey Maguire for Best Actor, Natalie Portman for Best Actress, and Bailey Madison for Best Performance by a Young Actor. They were all nominated.
Do you think any of them went to this?
Oh, like showed up?
Yeah.
No.
Tobey Maguire's going to the science fiction whatever awards?
Dude, if I was a successful enough actor to be even nominated in some of these, I would love to show. Like if I was able to
go to those.
If I was like my schedule was open enough to do it, and I was like successful to like, yeah, I could go travel and it's not going to hurt my bank. Yeah, I would show up all the time.
You'd show up at like the Saturn Awards, but you get nominated for a Golden Globe, and you're like, if I win, I'll just do like a video thanking everybody.
I'm an asshole. I show up like fucking Loki, and I'm like, welcome, here I am. I'm like, praise me. I am here.
What'd they win?
So they won. So for the Cine Euphoria Awards,
everyone's familiar.
The Cinema
with that.
Euphoria Awards, that they just abbreviate Cine Euphoria Awards. They won Best
Cinephoria Awards.
Yeah. Tobey Maguire won Best Actor International Competition. Good for him. He fucking knocked it out the park. He is one of the best breakdowns I've ever seen, like mental breakdowns I've ever seen on film. Jim Sheridan, I don't even know who that is, won top 10 of the year international competition in the Cine. This is all for the Cine Euphoria Awards. And then they also won Freedom of Expression Honorary Award for the producers and director.
I mean, they express their freedom.
Dude,
I'll give it to them.
Honestly, if I was to be a producer or director and win that award, I'd be like, I don't understand really what I'm winning. You're winning the freedom of expression, bro.
I would pretend like I completely understood. And I'd go
This is for all my expression of freedom.
I'd give like a really long, impassioned speech.
Ever since I was 2 years old, I just thought about winning the Expression of Freedom Award from the Sin Euphoria Awards. And now that I'm here, it's just like a dream come true. Just go on for like 30 minutes. Yeah, I feel you. So they were... Here's another nominee, a good nominee. They were nominated for the Golden Globes, Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture, Tobey Maguire, and Best Original Song by U2, Bono. Look at that. Bono was on this? I didn't even know. Bono was a part of this movie.
Bono, they had multiple songs.
Yeah?
They had a song that Jake
It's all over my iPhone, that's for fucking sure.
Jake Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman are listening to one of the songs at one point, and then the ending credit song was a song of theirs that came out that year.
Yeah.
It was like a new song.
Nice. Yeah. Good for Bono, you know? He's just...
He needed it, you know?
Yeah.
He's been hurting, and he's like, I gotta do something.
I'm Bono! All right, so the only other win that they got is from the Irish Film and Television Awards for Best Director for Film. Jim Sheridan.
Hold on, the IFTAs?
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. The IFTAs, yeah. Good abbreviation there, David. Nominated for the Teen Choice Awards. Nominated for the Film Critics Circle Awards.
They ran through like the whole gauntlet.
Yeah, but there's no
Academy
chainsaw.
Awards?
There's no chainsaw, though.
The chainsaw, they knew not to touch this.
Yeah.
They knew not to fucking touch it.
Yeah. So those are like the best nominees. But yeah, those are their 4 wins. Good for them. They deserved them. Yeah, you want to get into it? You want to dive deep?
Let's dive deep, baby.
All right, let's dive deep.
So we start off. They show it's like on a Marine base, and it shows Marines jogging through the streets, not the streets, like through the fucking like the trail they have there, where they're running, and they go to Tobey Maguire. He's in his office writing a letter to his wife. You just see at the top it says "My darling Grace." And then he's leaving. He's getting in his truck, and he hands it to his commanding officer, and he's like, "Hopefully, you don't have to deliver this."
Yeah.
Gets home.
I love his softness. I just wanted to say that real quick.
He's very soft.
You know Toby. He's the softest of the soft, you know?
Gets home. Natalie Portman's giving one of the kids a bath. The kid's like, Daddy! It's a whole, like, they're showing he's a family man.
He's a great guy.
Goes in. His other daughter's like, I'm reading. I don't want you to leave. This is Isabel.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want you to leave. And he's like, come on. How many kisses do you want? 1 kiss, 2 kisses, 1,000,000 kisses? Oh, you're getting all the kisses. And then like he gets her to start laughing, and then the other daughter comes in, and he's wrestling with them all. It's really just showing like he's a good dad. His wife loves him, kids love him.
Yeah,
great. So like we needed more, because this whole scene, me explaining all of this right now, is longer than it actually was.
Yeah, it's very quick cut, just like him basically saying almost like his goodbyes and just loving his daughters and stuff. And you kind of get a little a feel that they're not, it's not that they have a good house, but you can kind of tell they're not that I would say financially, successful. I feel like that carries, I feel like you kind of get a little bit of a feel for that, like in the scenes when he's kind of leaving, like Natalie Portman, I feel like kind of, they don't really express that. I just kind of felt like I got a feel for that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure like it's a fine house. You don't look at it like, oh, it's a shitty house. But they're in, I think, Michigan or something like that. Like,
yeah. I don't mean it like that.
It looks like a 2-bedroom.
I just mean kind of like she's probably has to do a lot. She probably knows she's probably got to do a lot when he leaves. You know?
Oh, for sure. I mean, and it's not like he's in the Marines. It's not like he's making $500,000 a year.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
So he's leaving, and she's like, "He doesn't deserve you," says Tobey Maguire, and he goes, "He's my brother." And then they kiss, and he leaves. We don't know what that means. And then cut to prison. Jake Gyllenhaal's being escorted out of there, past all the prisoners, and they're like catcalling him, and they're yelling. He's like smiling as he's leaving.
I just really think like, is that prison? Like no matter how long you've been in there, everyone's just fucking. Even if you're leaving, they're just.
I imagine they're usually just pretty quiet and pretty just like they're chilling, doing their thing.
That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
right? Like,
I mean, I've never been, so I can't. Maybe someday. You know?
maybe someone can comment underneath and let us know how prison
Yeah,
is.
if you've been to prison, you let us know. You let us know about Jake Gyllenhaal getting
that if you've
escorted
been
out.
in there for like a year or so, like, is everyone still trying to fight you when you're leaving? Like, how does that go down?
Yeah, so it's more like, oh, you're leaving. Like, guys are whistling. Jake Gyllenhaal's a good-looking dude. Like,
Yeah.
woo, hey, baby.
Is that
Where
like,
you going?
Go ahead and explain it. The big black dude that
You're
says we can do the easy way or the hard way.
You're talking about the booty warrior.
the booty. Yeah.
Booty more important than food.
Yeah.
Booty more important than water.
Jake would be on that list, right?
Oh, absolutely. Jake, day one, the booty warrior would have called him over and be like, hey, so I like you. And we're either going to do this the easy way or we're going to do it the hard way. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And knowing Jake, I mean, I'm sure he would have just said okay.
He would have, yeah. Yes,
Especially after the whole
yes, sir,
Brokeback
Mr.
Mountain, you know?
Yeah, he would have been dying to get with the booty warrior.
Yeah.
So Tobey Maguire, he's waiting out front. They hug. Jake Gyllenhaal gets in the truck. They're driving. They drive past a bank, and they're at a red light. And they're just looking at the bank, and Toby says, you ever think about going and apologizing to that lady? And Gyllenhaal just goes, the light's green. And Tobey Maguire drives, drops him off at a pawn shop. And he's like, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm just going to cash this check and then, go to a motel for a little bit or something.
And he says, try not to rob it.
It's great. Just try not to rob the place. It's it's their brothers. He's fucking with them. Like, try not to rob the place. That's if I picked my brother up from prison after he robbed a bank and I was dropping him off at a pawn shop to cash his check, I'm saying something like that. Yeah. Like, hey, try not to rob the place.
Yeah, but how do you know your brother is still the same brother after a year in prison, with the booty dude?
I mean, is what it is. He's gonna have to deal with that comment however he deals with it, and we'll go from there.
Okay,
Jake Gyllenhaal, he ends up going to some shitty motel, doesn't have hot water. That's a thing.
And then they're at the back at the Tobey Maguire's house, right?
Oh, it's dinner time.
Yeah,
It's dinner time, baby.
Dinner time.
So it's dinner time. Sam Shepard and his wife are there. Sam Shepard's wife's making dinner with Natalie Portman. It might be at Sam Shepard's house dinner. I'm not sure which house it is.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Sam Shepard's wife is cooking. I say Sam Shepard's wife. I don't think she's Tobey Maguire, or she's definitely not Jake Gyllenhaal's mom.
No, I think you're right.
Later on, she references Jake Gyllenhaal's mom.
Yeah.
I think they're just married. I don't know why that needed to be part of it. It could have just been this is their mom. A weird little wrinkle to throw in there.
I'm pretty positive you're right. I think she's a stepmom.
She is, because later on she talks about Jake Gyllenhaal's mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Later.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know why she's not just their mom, but she's not.
Yeah.
But so the family's all happy. Kids are playing with Grandpa. Ring at the door. It's Uncle Tommy, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. And little Maggie answers the door, and he says, "Are you Izzy?" And she goes, "No, I'm Maggie. Izzy's big." He goes, "Oh, I'm your Uncle Tommy." He goes, "My mom doesn't like you very much." And then, Natalie Portman's walking up. She's like, "Maggie!" And, Jake Gyllenhaal pulls some flowers out of his jacket and goes, "These are for your mom." And she gives them to the mom. So it's a weird way to start. He goes in.
Yeah, those fucking young kids. They're just so blunt.
No filter.
Yeah.
She's like, "My mom doesn't like you."
Yeah.
She's like, "That's what you said, Mom."
Way
said it.
Yeah, way to meet. Set up a awkward ass scenario.
It's weird. So Dad's wife, so happy to see Jake Gyllenhaal. Goes up, hugs him. "I love you. I'm so happy you're back." Dad's like,
was it just me, or did she seem a little young for the dad, or did the dad just seem old? I can't tell if they seem like they're like.
I think it was just you. If there's an age difference, it's 10 years. It's not.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
And Dad was 60.
Okay,
so
maybe she's 50 and maybe he's 60 or something.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge discrepancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just kind of popped into my head when I was watching. I was just like, good for him. I was really thinking good for him because
good for Sam Shepard.
Yeah, it's scoring, man. Good for you.
Dad's like, whatever. Hey, shakes his hand, doesn't really get up, and it's just
that stuck out to me. He said, "Sir."
Yeah,
he said, "Isn't that his dad?" But I'm like, oh, well, maybe they have a relationship where it's they don't really talk like that.
Respectful. And Dad, we find out later, Dad was in Vietnam. He served in the Marines.
Yeah, he said Nam. He didn't even say Vietnam. He said Nam.
But Dad served in the Marines, so it was Jake. He was being respectful, calling him sir, and Dad's like, "Yep," like barely even acknowledging it. They're at the table. The stepmom says like an over-the-top prayer about how one child has returned while another child is going to do his servicely duties. It was weird. And
this is the part where there's like a lot of tension starting to build up.
It's so like no one's saying much.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking uncomfortable. And
I can't remember exactly what was said, but there was something where like Jake gave a compliment or something, was trying to be like nice, and the dad was like
Jake told Elsie.
Okay.
He said, "Elsie, this food is fantastic. Thank you." Yeah. And Dad goes, "Compared to what?" And he goes, "I don't know, other food." And he goes, "Prison food."
And he like hits the table a little bit,
slams it, and then Dad gets up like a little bitch. Dad gets up and just leaves.
I like though Toby too was kind of like, he kind of like looked at the brother, was like, calm, kind of like,
he's like, "Hey, Tommy."
Well, and kind of like gave him a look like, I understand how Dad's being towards you, kind of like, which is, it's so great because Toby like when I'm watching, I'm like, dude, that's exactly what he's saying off of this little look. Like, as an actor, that's fucking, to me, like little things like that, dude, is great.
Oh, he did a phenomenal job. Like, it's obvious, like he's the middleman there.
Yeah, exactly.
Dad loves him and respects him,
and he understands that whole scenario where he's like feels bad for his brother. Like, I love the way that they played that. Yeah,
it was perfect.
Yeah.
The rest of dinner, so that was the end of dinner when Dad left. Earlier on, they were talking about Dad's leaving. He's like, "When are you leaving?" Jake Gyllenhaal asks him, and Toby's like, "I leave Tuesday." And he's like, "Be safe over there," or something like that. And one of the daughters goes, "Dad only kills the bad guys." And Jake Gyllenhaal goes, "Which ones are the bad guys?" And she thinks for a second. Everyone's like, "Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah,
fuck you do, Jake."
It's a great line.
And she goes, "The ones with the beards." People kind of smile, and then Dad, Sam Shepard is like, "He's fighting for his country over there. Don't you forget it."
And then he said something, I forget what he said again, but he said something like, "Yeah, I know." And then the dad's like, "You sound like a damn..."
Oh, Dad! All
sound
families,
like a damn parrot.
It's every family has different problems.
Oh yeah.
And Jake Gyllenhaal's like, "You got that right," and he's like, "Got what right?" And he's like, "Every family has a different set of problems." He's like, "You sound like a fucking parrot." Like,
yeah,
like Grandpa, Dad, Sam Shepard just fucking so out of line, putting so much unnecessary tension on this whole thing.
And it's like, I get it. You're a stubborn dad kind of, and like you want to see your son do better, like your other son who's going off to fight off war and he just got out of prison. But you would think you would try to be a little bit nicer in that scenario,
The last dinner for your son who's about to go off to Afghanistan, like you aren't like, "I'm going to take this as an opportunity."
And your son who just got out of prison, who might have, rid his wrongs, who might be a better guy now.
Prison system's supposed to rehabilitate people.
Yeah. Well, supposed to, but yeah.
Ideally, he comes out fucking better than ever.
Yeah.
That's what the system's supposed to do.
And maybe that's the truth, but his dad's just like not accepting that. He's like, there's no way.
No, this piece of shit will never be Toby.
Yeah.
Never be Toby Maguire. So Dad walked off like a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
And then later, Jake Gyllenhaal's leaving. Tobey Maguire walks him out to the door, and Tobey Maguire says, "Stay out of trouble." And he says, "Stay safe over there." And then he walks off.
Yeah, and and then they it's like after dinner, and like Toby and Jake have like a little exchange or something like that. I forget what
that was the exchange. That's
okay.
That's what I'm talking. What I just said was Jake and Toby.
Oh, okay.
Not Dad. Dad walked off like a bitch, got his coat, stormed out. Didn't say
he
bye
was.
to anybody.
He was gone. Yeah.
Dad, because Dad's a little bitch in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then it's fucking Toby with Natalie. Natalie did great too, bro. She's so in love. She just seems so in love with Toby. I'm just like, and love. It's just in the air. But I guess we're at the scene where he's taking off his ring, wherever he's like having.
He's taking off his wedding rings. He can't.
He's going to war, and he's like, "I'm not going
over there."
Yeah,
that comes up big later. You don't You don't want to wear your ring. You don't want them to know you're married. You don't want them to know you have a family, anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And then, what are we at?
They're in bed, and she goes, "Take me with you," and he says, "Okay."
Oh yeah.
And she goes, "Let's switch. I'll go over there. You stay with the kids." He says, "Okay." And then she says,
She's very soft.
And she says, "Don't go." And he doesn't say okay to that. And then they presumably have sex. They're a married couple with 2 children.
Well, I remember this part too.
It shows this, and it also shows Jake Gyllenhaal drinking alone in a bar. And it cuts around to that.
So there's a couple times through this film where they show a picture of Tobey Maguire with Natalie Portman from like back in the day when they were like, because they say at some point in the movie that they started dating when they were like 16 or something like that, or they fell in love when they were 16. And I just like to think that they just actually took a photo, like a legit photo of them from like, I don't know, the Nickelodeon Teen Choice Awards.
like they found Tobey Maguire and Natalie Portman together when they were 16.
Yeah, and they just actually took that picture that's like a real picture, and they're like, oh, they just fell in love from that time.
I hope that's how they cast this movie. They wanted that picture.
Oh, I'm sure legit. I'm sure Natalie, Toby, and Jake are for sure friends in Hollywood, like at this point.
Not since they were 16, though.
No, not well, even maybe. I mean, they're probably all acting from a young age, especially Natalie and Toby. I don't know about Jake. I'm sure Jake was too, like a young actor.
Jake Gyllenhaal was in some movie when he was young.
Yeah, he was. Yep, you're right. So yeah, I am sure they all were friends. Like, probably even went to same acting classes or some shit. Like,
Jake Gyllenhaal in that movie, he was like a science kid. His brother was real good at football.
He was the the bubble kid.
And their dad was that guy who looks like Tommy Lee Jones, but way isn't Tommy Lee Jones.
There's a couple of them.
Guy was in The Patriot. He was one of the colonels.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything super great.
But Jake was in The Bubble Boy too before this. Like, that was when he was.
Was he? There we go.
You remember? Do you ever see that movie?
Probably. But
he grows up living in a bubble.
Yeah. I know.
He can't be.
About.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal is going off to war.
Yeah,
he's going off to war, and he kind of narrates this part, and he's like, "I'm back in Afghanistan, and this feels like home."
Yeah, he's like having a good time. He's got like a smile on his face.
He's videotaping kids, shit like that, and then he's in a helicopter, and the helicopter blows up.
Yeah, and they were showing like some of the, like, this is probably the most expensive shot that they had, was like some fucking tanks flipped over like in Afghanistan or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, in the beginning, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, maybe this is going to have some crazy good production value. We're going to get into some war scenes. We're going to get, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking we're going to get like pretty crazy with some of this shit.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Not quite.
But I do like that they honed in so much on the main characters. They didn't go too off. Or they didn't ever really go off. You know what I'm saying? Like, which that could have happened if they thought about maybe shooting too much war scenes or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure it could have.
Yeah.
And then it just turns into a war movie, and it's
instead
not
of
about the
like,
family and all that. Yeah.
They might have even cut some stuff. We don't even know.
Where are we at? How long is this recording been going on? Not including the awesome subway plug, which is like 2 minutes and something.
37 minutes.
37 minutes.
Yeah.
So guys, we've nearly tripled how long. So like, we're explaining this in detail because the movie just fucking didn't.
Yeah.
This all happened in 14 minutes in the movie.
Yep.
So like, watching this, I imagine mine and Braden's voices, you're like, wow, we're really invested in these characters. Watching this, I didn't give a fuck about Tobey Maguire when this happened right here.
Exactly.
I kind of cared about the daughters and Natalie Portman.
Yep.
I was like, oh, that's going to kind of suck. And then they ruin it in this next scene. Because the fucking military, it's a colonel and the military chaplain show up at the house. Natalie Portman's upstairs in the bath. And he knocks on the door, and Maggie goes, who is it? And he goes, it's Colonel whatever and Chaplain whoever. And she opens the door, and he goes, your mom here? She goes, yep. Yeah. Where is she? She goes, she's up in the bath. Yeah. And then, like, she's just standing there. It's like, well, could you go get her for us? Like,
it was, yeah.
Why make this could have been a serious, intense scene. Should have been a serious, intense scene. Why break it up with comedy like that?
Yeah,
with just like a cute little kid, like, not understanding social cues.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Maybe they were trying to have it more realistic. I don't want to say more realistic because that doesn't mean it's like more realistic, but in a scenario where in like reality that could happen, you know, like
but don't take away from this. It's a movie.
I feel
it's
that
a movie.
though.
Like
the
kid could answer the door and not understand.
No, I feel you.
But also, Natalie
You'll
Portman
be able
could
to
answer
soak
the
it
door
in
and just be
more
like,
with-
"Oh my
yeah.
god, no!"
Yeah,
because that's what happened. That she's coming downstairs and she sees those two,
yeah,
and just immediately starts crying.
yeah.
She knows like they're not here to just say, "Hey, how's the family doing?" She's like, "Come on in."
There was one thing I wanted to say about them getting hit on the helicopter, and I don't know, like I didn't understand it when I saw it, and I'm still like, I still don't know, and I'm wanting to get your take. Right when they're about to get like hit, they're like on a fucking iPad or something. They're on some. They're looking at something, and one of the guys said like, "Lucky something," like "lucky bastards" or something like that, or like "oh fuck," or said something, and then they get hit. And I'm wondering like, were they looking at something that's showing them that they're about to get hit by a fucking missile or something like? That's
So I didn't hear "lucky bastard."
I don't know if it was lucky bastards.
They have some sort of like tablet looking thing, which so not everybody.
It's probably not lucky bastards. It's too corny of a line.
It's like someone up towards the front where the pilot is, and then Tobey Maguire, because he's a captain, have them.
Okay,
I don't know what they're, but it's not like everyone has them, and they're like.
but I just didn't understand it because it stood out to me because they referenced something to, you know, what they're looking at in accordance to getting hit. Like they're about to get hit, and they're like, "Oh fuck!"
So
like,
he asked what their ETA was, and the lady told him 3 minutes, and then he told his
said
men
3 minutes,
told
yeah.
3 minutes. I don't remember hearing like "lucky bastards" or anything.
well,
like
they
that.
were looking at they were looking at, and literally like, this is like literally as they're about to get hit, the dude notices something on the whatever the fuck they're holding, and then says something that like correlates to them about to get hit, and then they get hit, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? It just stood out to me. I'm like, I didn't know if you noticed that part too, but it was just weird to me. I'm like, are they able to see this like it's fucking Call of Duty or something? Like you're locked on? Like,
Yeah, I didn't see that. No, I'm sure. So like, I'm sure they have something that like,
yeah, I'm sure too.
they can
And
tell
that-
a missile's coming at them. They
Yeah.
can tell something like
Yeah, I'm sure.
like
That's what I'm.
infrared sonar.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is. I just
some
you know
kind of military shit.
I just
Hey,
wish they soaked on that a little bit
hey,
more.
if you're in the military, jump
Let us
on,
know.
give us a comment. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't do it for Independence Day. They kind of let us down on that one.
Yeah.
I still don't know if Vivica A. Fox and her kid could go stay on the base with Will Smith, but I'd love to know what the fuck Tobey Maguire and the crew were looking at.
Maybe in
that
a time
copter.
of alien invasion they could. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, that could be a rule.
Yeah.
They're like, guys, so never, but... if
We have
al-
it written
if
in
aliens
Section
are here-
1818.
Yeah.
You know, it's-
So she lets them in. She's crying. Like, she knows that he's dead. That's why they're there.
yeah.
Later on,
There
Jake
could be no
Gyllenhaal-
other reason, you know. Like,
Yeah, they're like, hey, just checking in. See if you need anything. Like, no, he's dead. Jake Gyllenhaal shows up and he's at the front door and he reaches under the mat and then Natalie Portman opens the door and he's like, hey, Natalie, or whatever her name is in the movie. He's like,
yeah.
It's like, Toby told me I could borrow the cup whenever. I'm just returning the key. The taillight's busted. Like,
There's some asshole or some shit.
yeah, like he crashed their car. Some taillight's busted. And like she's just looking, like not saying anything. He's like, don't give me that look. Like, just fucking say it. Like, Toby told me I could borrow the car whenever. And then she goes, his name in the movie, Tommy, and I think Jake.
Yeah. It's
No, it's not Jake.
it's not Jake. It's Tommy and
Sam.
Ooh, Sam. Yeah, I knew it was a
And
common
she just
name.
goes, Tommy, Sam's dead.
Yep.
And he goes, what? She goes, Sam's dead, Tommy. He's like, why didn't you call me? And she's like, been trying to call you. We've all been trying to call you all day. We couldn't get a hold of you. She's like,
Why didn't anyone call me?
he's screaming. He's like, dude, come inside. And he's like, no, I'm not fucking coming inside. And he backs away. And then he goes, why the fuck did you let him go?
Yeah.
Like, puts it on her and then throws the keys at her. And
Which I'm
just
like, great.
Just walks off.
Yeah, because, you know, it is her fault. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, you know, if only she did switch places with him,
Yeah.
like she said.
Should have been her over there.
Yeah.
Not Toby. And then it shows him he's at his dad's house with the girlfriend or the wife, and she says he's in heaven with your mom now.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how we find out that
Yeah.
okay, this isn't his
That's
mom.
right.
He's in heaven with your mom now, and then like he goes inside and dad's drinking and he offers Jake a drink and he turns it down.
Yeah. Which is like, right then when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, this has got to be the pivotal change in this character's moment. Like in this character's life, this has got to be the change for him to turn down the drink because he just came from a bar. Like that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and so I'm not upset with the direction they went with it instead of that. That's what I thought too. But the direction they ended up going, I thought was fine.
Yeah, same.
Like I thought it made sense. It was
exactly.
So then it's the morning. Natalie Portman goes in the girls' room. She's like, "Girls, you're not dressed. You got to put your dresses on." And girl's like, "I don't want to wear the dress.
It's itchy," which is the perfect fucking line because, like, I remember going to a funeral and my sister saying the same fucking thing.
That's sad. Whose funeral, man?
It was my grandpa, my papa's.
That must have been tough for you.
Yeah, it was.
Man, that must have been really tough. Do you want to talk about it?
I do, actually. Can we devote the next 20 minutes to just me?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you and your relationship with your poppy?
Yeah. Okay, so everyone listening, it all started when I was about 4 years old.
Hey, if your poppy was still alive, would you rather?
Hit me with
here's the. Would you rather he still be dead, or you ride on a Ferris wheel with him and he jerks you off?
Bro, what the fuck? Bro.
So you gotta pick one of the two, but you get a funnel cake after. So Grandpa's alive and you're eating funnel cake with him, or he's dead. Which one you taking?
Dude, he's dead. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm gonna.
All right, you're taking the dead one.
I'm
Bullard family, if you're listening, Poppy could have come back.
I'm not gonna ruin the relationship or memories that I had. That is, if anyone's really listening to this right now, that is the most absurd question I've ever been asked in my entire life. David's good. David is super creative.
So I stole that one.
Oh, you stole.
Yeah. It's still, I've heard that one before. I don't know where, but I've heard that "Would you rather" before.
Well, now I'm just disappointed.
Yeah,
I'm
disappointed.
Stealing shit.
I'm disappointed you wouldn't bring your poppy back, man.
Do I have to explain why I wouldn't?
I mean, I think is your grandma still alive?
Yeah,
your grandma could have more years with her husband. Your dad could have more years with his father.
I love how you're trying to find a way for me to justify. I don't even want to say it. It's just so fucking weird.
And who doesn't love funnel cake? Like, come on. All right.
All right.
So girls don't want to wear their dresses, and the mom's like, all right, you don't have to wear your dresses. And then one of the girls says, Mom, is Daddy really dead like your mom and dad?
Yeah,
but
that's a weird fucking question.
Yeah. Well, it's young kids. Like, they can't really grasp it. But they're like, I know my mom and dad's dead. Because I think it was the younger kid.
Yeah, I guess.
It was Maggie, who's like 4, and like she doesn't understand at all what's going on.
Well, let me put it this way. When my poppy died, I didn't go to my mom and say, hey, Mom, is your dad really dead? After we just had a funeral.
You should have.
Well, it's funny because...
Maybe she would have been like, yeah, and Braden, there was one thing you could have done. Keep him around. But you chose not to.
If only you weren't such a selfish piece of shit, Braden.
Just get in the fucking car. We're going home.
I'm sorry, folks. We get into really some fucked up scenarios on this show. So just be prepared, when listening in. This show could go any what way at any point in time.
Absolutely. So they're at the funeral. The kids aren't wearing the dresses. Everyone is singing the gospel songs except for Jake Gyllenhaal, which I respected. If I'm at my brother, Mike and B, if you guys die and we go to your funeral, I promise you I'm not singing the gospel songs.
Well, maybe he wasn't religious. There's no other gospel songs.
Regardless. People were reading them out of the books. Everyone but him is singing, and like it kind of made like a point of showing that he's not singing. I was like, I wouldn't sing. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Not singing at a funeral.
Yeah. And it's like you're just going to throw off the whole tempo and the melody of it anyway,
Yeah. So they show people leaving the funeral. I even, I took down little notes for the movie, and I refer to the dad as Sam Harris in my notes.
And what's his?
It's Sam Shepard.
Sam Shepard.
Yeah, but Sam Harris is the author that I've heard of for some reason.
Yeah.
Not familiar with his work, but so Sam Shepard, he's drinking out of a flask out in the parking lot. The guy that Toby gave the letter to walks up to Natalie Portman and is like, "Here you go. He never wanted me to give this to you." He's talking like a fucking robot. He's got no emotion. Like,
Yeah, do you think he's trying to be too Marine-ish?
Kind of, because like
if that's a word.
Because he goes, he never wanted me to give this to you, and she goes, it just doesn't seem real. And he goes, yeah, it's hard. Just like that, like it's hard to get used to. Just like that. He was a great Marine, best Marine I ever worked with.
Yeah,
like it's just fucking like talk like a person to her.
Yeah, and then walked up to the father and was like, "So your son was the best damn Marine I ever commanded."
Yeah,
and just walked right by him.
Just
kept walking.
Jake Gyllenhaal tries to get the keys from his dad because his dad's been drinking out of the flask, and dad's not having it. Dad's like, "What are you talking about? Get the keys? Why don't you get a job and get your shit together? You could have your own car." Jake Gyllenhaal, how about that? And then his wife's like, "Just give him the keys." And he's like, no. He's like getting in his face. He's like, "You hear all those Marines talk about your brother in there? Who's going to come talk about you when you die?" And he's like...
That is fucked.
Dude, like, dad's like getting in his face, talking shit to him. And he's like... Jake Gyllenhaal like starts to say something, never mind. He's like, no. You have to have some fucking guts and say it. And he's like, it's fucking your fault. Like, you pushed him into the Marines. You all this shit. You're drinking your whole lives. You couldn't talk to anyone about your fucking problems. You took it out on us, and you forced him to go into the Marines, and now he's dead.
I love that scene because I'm like, oh, like, they're actually really, like, even though they have all this conflict between each other, like, they know what's going on. And, like, Jake is breaking it down like, which I love. You know,
You're giving a great backstory there.
And I don't like sometimes when characters have all this conflict and they're, like, oblivious to what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, or how to fix it or something, you know, like, or just being able to reflect. Like, I don't like when characters are oblivious to the conflict in their own lives. I like that Jake, you know, I love the way that they actually set up the scene. And the way that the father acts is just great because a lot of times when, like, they get... I feel like a lot of actors could play this very strong, like overly strong, and he plays it like in a very strong, subtle way to where it's very, to me, believable. You know what I'm saying? So
because there's a few times where like he wants to talk like he's talking there,
yeah,
and then doesn't because it's easier to just sweep it under the rug.
Exactly, yeah.
But like here, he's like, all right, you're gonna make me fucking. We're at my brother's funeral, like fuck you, like
yeah, exactly.
Here's the issue. Again, Sam Shepard, just gives his wife the wife's like, fine, give me the keys. He gives her the keys, and he's like, I'm walking. Then he walks off like a little bitch, because that's Sam Shepard's MO.
I thought, I'm like, well, did he walk all the way home? Like, is this a small community? Like, how far is he walking? I mean, he's like 60 years old.
Who's to say?
You know?
Natalie Portman walked up at the end of this, though, so she noticed that little exchange. Later, it shows Natalie Portman. She's in bed. She goes to read the letter, but can't. Puts it in the nightstand. We're back at Afghanistan, where Tobey Maguire and another Marine are being like led by a group of Taliban.
And you know what I thought? The country looks beautiful.
Dude, like I would love to get any like the show Homeland, like, any movie that shows Afghanistan. Like it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like out in like the desert area
Yeah.
with the mountains and stuff. I'd love to be able to go like hiking and camping out there.
And it looks like it's like it's not hot. It's cool. They were showing that because like the breath was, you know, I'm sure it gets cold because it's in the desert, but like even during the day, it didn't seem like it was like, because they wear the things to like keep themselves warm even during the day. I'm like, that must be pretty, you know, nice. Yeah. Hiking, getting a good, nice, cold breeze.
Yeah, we need Afghanistan needs to let us over there. Like their tourist money would just
through the roof.
The Taliban would be better than ever
if they just set up some fucking
coming in.
Set up some hotels.
Just make it no, not even hotels, like camping sites even.
Yeah, I'm sure
Afghanistan. If you're a government official in Afghanistan, comment under the post, and I got some ideas for you.
They need
Afghanistan's gonna be back, baby.
Yeah, they need a mentor, is what they need. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
All the millionaires and billionaires, they talk about how you need a mentor. I found a mentor, and then the mentor taught me how to sell online ebooks, and now I'm rich. And then I made YouTube ads.
Now Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, and I made YouTube ads that.
You want to be Jeff Bezos, Afghanistan?
Yeah, come on,
let's do this.
Let's make some real money.
So
hit up the 5-6 Kings. We'll help you out. We'll be the mentor.
So they show Tobey Maguire and another Marine. They're in like this little underground prison cell thing. And they're looking out through the thing, and the Taliban's going through these pictures. It's kid pictures and a picture of a younger-looking woman. And Tobey Maguire goes, "So those your kids, and is that your wife?" And the guy goes, "Yeah." He goes, "No, they're not. You don't know them. You only know me. I'm Captain Cahill. You're Private Willis." Say that back to me. He goes, "You're Captain Cahill. I'm Private Willis. That's all I know."
Which I didn't really know. You know, this is my first time kind of like hearing this and understanding that, I guess they would keep them as prisoners longer if they didn't give all the information, you know, and then wouldn't kill them on, you know, television, because it's got to be like some scare tactic to be able to know, you know, who you are, your whole family, and then get you to say exactly what they want to say and then kill you. It's got to be like this whole...
Because like, all right, we know you're Private Willis. We can very easily find out where back in America your family lives. Do you want them to be safe?
Yeah.
Because if you do, you need to denounce America and say, get the fuck out of our country. Back in the States, this movie's a little smoking aces-y. Back in the States, Natalie Portman gets a phone call. She answers it. It's Jake Gyllenhaal. And he's like, "I know it's like 1 a.m. And she goes, "It's 3 a.m., Tommy. What the fuck do you want?" And he's like, "I'm at a bar and I had a few drinks, and apparently these are the most expensive drinks in the world, and I owe this guy $47. Can you come help me out?" And she comes to the bar, and he's sitting at the bar fucking with the dude. He's like, "Look at your nose, man. Let me touch your nose." He's like, "You got like a lunar
when I
eclipse
saw that,
nose."
I was just thinking, like, man, I really hope all this is just improv. Like, they were just like, "Jake, go ahead and just fuck with..."
He's like, "Dude, do whatever you want."
Yeah.
He's like, "Look at your nose. Come on. He's like touching the nose.
I would love to think that actor, they just met. Like, they didn't talk about this scene beforehand. They met on set, and Jake was directed by the director just to improv. And Jake was like, "Fuck this dude," and just started picking on him on his nose. And the guy's like getting like self-conscious on camera about his fucking nose, and Jake's trying to touch it and poke it. I was just thinking, like, how great of a comedy this would actually be if that was like the way it was done.
That'd be great. Natalie Portman walks in.
They get done, the dude's like, "Fuck you, Jake. I'm never working with you again."
Natalie Portman walks in, pays the guy $50. Jake Gyllenhaal's still like trying to fuck with the guy and joke, and she's like, "I have 2 kids sleeping in my car in the fucking parking lot of this bar
At 3 a.m.
At 3 a.m. He's like, "Do you think this is a joke? Do you think you're being funny right now? Let's go. I'm not fucking doing with this." And then he like gets serious. He's like, "Ah, shit. All right."
Yep.
It wasn't super cool of me to do this. So they go to the house. He's drunk, but carries one of the kids in. They bring the kids inside. He's asleep on the couch the next morning.
Yeah, wakes up to the little girl fucking making... She's stirring like pancake batter.
Pancake batter, yeah. They're making pancakes for Mom.
Yeah. And she's just being relentless. Just like, "No, I'm going to stir it right here."
She's like, "I'm making the breakfast." She's like, you don't live here. You're not my boss."
Well,
like,
Jake keeps asking her. He's like, "Can you please stop? And she's like, "Nope."
Yeah. So he gets up, walks to the kitchen with her, drinks milk out of the carton. She's like, "Hey, you can't drink milk out of the carton." He goes, "Shut up." Like,
dude, yeah, all this shit Jake
like,
was saying right now
is
is
so
like,
crazy.
Yeah, he is so like hungover and pissed off and just... I was surprised. I'm like, who talks to little girls like this? He's like, "I'm not eating your crap."
Natalie Portman comes downstairs, sees the girls made her breakfast, and because they're like, "We're making Mom pancakes because she's sad and we want her to be happy." Like, it's adorable what they're doing. She comes down and she's like, "Oh, I'm so surprised." Sam Shepard, Dad, walks in, and Natalie Portman and the girls leave the kitchen, and it's just Jake Gyllenhaal and Dad, and they very unhealthily just sweep it under the rug. That's
now that I think about it, how do these girls make the fucking pancakes? They're so short. Like, how are they fucking cooking the pancakes?
They're making it work. You kidding?
I didn't see them flip one fucking pancake.
I watched her flip it. That's a big thing. You go in, and Izzy has the pan. She's down, and she flips it. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
That's one of the few things I remembered from this breakfast.
Was this when Jake was saying "shut up" or something? Like, was my eyes fixated on Jake?
It was when he walked into the kitchen. She's flipping pancakes on the pan. Yeah.
Jake's just stealing the shine there, and that's
always does.
Yeah.
Always does. Always will. So Dad shows up, and he's like, "Hey, maybe I you know, I was good enough to drive, but, you know, maybe I was out of line. And Jake's just like, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And they talk about Tobey Maguire for a little bit, how much they love him.
How great he was in Spider-Man 1, 2, 3.
Dad's like, so he wasn't a quitter. He's like, he wasn't, because Jake Gyllenhaal's like, I know I'm not as smart as Toby. And he's like, you're as smart as he is. You just give up. Like, he was never a quitter.
Yeah.
It's like, remember that game against whoever? And, like, they talk about him. Dad kind of cries. And Jake Gyllenhaal goes, Dad, I'd cut my throat to bring him back. And then Dad just goes, I don't know how she lives with this kitchen. And look around, and it's
the
a crappy
kitchen is, like, fucking so weird. They got, like, the stove and, like,
Yeah,
it's like almost, like, right in front of the front fucking door.
Yeah, so that's the back door. It's back door.
Is it the back door?
Yeah, people go in through it, but it's,
you're
it's clearly
right.
the back door.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know
It is
why
the back door.
Grandpa's... Because that's the door he came in.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, you're
weird,
right.
but
Yeah,
it is what it is. Cut back to Afghanistan. Tobey Maguire and the private, they see a helicopter fly over, and Tobey, like, they see, so they're like, oh, they're looking for us. And Tobey Maguire starts banging on the thing, like, he's trying to get out.
They're put in, like, a hole, and then they covered the top of the hole with, like, planks of wood, and they nailed in the wood.
Yeah, so Tobey Maguire's banging on the plank of wood, and the guy just sticks, like, an AK-47.
7 through the fucking crack.
Just sticks it through, and then, like, he backs up.
Yeah.
And they wait a minute, and the guy's like, should we go again? And Tobey Maguire's like, not right now.
Fuck.
He'll shoot us in the fucking face if we do it again.
Yeah.
Back in America. This is where it gets smoking aces.
Yeah, it starts to get a little smoking aces.
Jake Gyllenhaal and some of his friends are fixing up the kitchen.
Yeah.
And so his friends, two of his friends are kind of nobodies. One of his friends is the fat white guy from Remember the Titans.
Yep.
He was a security guard in the movie John Q.
Now he's apparently swole. I don't know if you've seen him
He
lately.
was a security guard in the movie John Q. And he was Edward Norton's friend in American History X.
Yep.
Where he says the N-word about 40 times.
Yep.
He's got a whole range, this actor.
Which is crazy because you think about it. He's getting paid for each one of those.
Yeah. He's getting paid his quote.
No, yeah. That's
What if his quote's $2 million?
Yeah.
Even if he sucks, they got to pay him another $2 million.
Oh, man.
But, so they're fixing...
no, but now, real quick, he is swole as shit now. He's just...
I've seen... So I don't think is he swole or is he just skinny?
No, he's getting a little swole. I mean, he's a big guy.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, good for him.
Good for him.
Good
he
on
lost,
him.
like, hundreds of pounds.
Good
300
on
pounds or some
him.
shit. Yeah.
Natalie Portman shows up and she's like, you got to ask me before you just show up and start. I mean, she's right.
No, she's 100% right.
Okay. The face you made, I thought you were going to be like, where does she get off?
My face
Who doesn't
is-
want a free kitchen? Like,
My face is more like the opposite. Like,
Yeah.
where the fuck do they get off? Just
Yeah.
showing up 4 dudes, you know? Like, yeah, they're going to redo the kitchen, but, like, she didn't fucking tell you to do that.
yeah, but that's like she's...
It's like 4 dudes, 3 other dudes, though, she's never met. Just in her home.
Yeah.
You
Jake Gyllenhaal's like, yeah, you're right. She's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, yeah, but...
It's okay.
She's like, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little scene, like the two of them. He's helping out.
Yeah.
So now we're back in Afghanistan, and the dude with Toby's fucking losing it at this point. He's like, you told me I don't have a wife, I don't have kids. You said not to tell them when they asked me. They haven't asked me anything. Been here for fucking 2 months, and they're not asking me anything. Why'd you save me?
And Toby's eyes are just really fucking big. He's like, calm down.
Toby's so stuck. He's like, stay in the moment. Stay
Was he called
centered.
Captain? Or does he get called Captain?
Toby's captain. That guy's private. He's like,
Private,
stay in the moment, private.
Yeah.
He's like, don't get carried away. You got to stay here, private. And the guy's like, stay here?
Private,
Fucking,
stay
that's all I've
focused.
been here. And then Toby goes, what day is it? And the guy goes, it's Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, what time is it? He goes, then he like looks out and he goes, about noon. So like he's keeping him centered, keeping him in the moment.
Yeah, but I thought
Don't freak
when
out.
they said those lines, I thought the dude was going to be off by like a week, and then Toby was going to be like, dude, you're fucking gone. Like,
So the way he said it, I thought it was like they were going to break out. Like, he's like, at this time, it's the guard
oh, that's how you
chain.
took it?
That's how I was like, Toby's fucking wild. Like, hey, he's planning
I was
this out.
taking it like Toby was super sharp to where he knew like the exact time and date, and just I thought they were setting it up like the other character was just going to be
way off. Yeah.
way off.
Yeah. But that wasn't. It was.
He was on. It was on point.
Yeah, it was keep him centered. Right after this, you hear the Taliban. They're like screaming at each other and shit. And then I lost my mind when this happened. Abu fucking Nazir from Homeland shows up, and he buys Tobey Maguire and the Private. Braden, you've never watched Homeland, have you?
No.
So that show was about the actor who went and bought Tobey Maguire and the other guy. He buys 2 Marines.
The dude with the reading glasses?
The dude who the translator. So not the dude.
Oh, the translator.
Not the boss guy.
The
yeah.
translator. Okay.
Yeah. So Abu Nazir does not play the head boss in this
He
scenario.
plays the
He
translator.
should. But I was like, holy shit! Like,
He's
this
like the
is-
second main
I was
boss.
like, this is Homeland. He's gonna fucking turn these guys and then send them back to the U.S. He's gonna fuck shit up. That wasn't quite the case, which is upsetting. But
That would have been great. Turn them
would've
into...
been great. Then I would be like, man, this came out years before Homeland did. They just fucking steal everything from brothers. It's crazy. So he buys them and takes them, and they meet the guy who's in charge. There's someone videotaping. They bring a guy up, and like he's on his knees in front of the guy in charge, and they're talking. And
This is the dude from Afghanistan, though, right?
this is a guy from Afghanistan, and like he used his phone to call his family or something like that.
Oh, and that gave away their position, right?
Yeah, so they on camera they just shoot the guy in the head right in front of Tobey Maguire and the Private.
And Toby is just wired, eyes just like not breaking a beat. The other dude's starting to freak
The
out.
guy's like, oh fuck, he fucking killed that guy.
And I feel like I would be either of those. I feel like I would be either of those expressions because they were so realistic. But they were just like, it's like you're either stone cold face and you're not even blinking, or you're like, oh fuck.
So I would try to be stone cold.
That's what I would try to be.
I mean,
too.
always like giving people the stunner, glass
Yeah.
breaks, I enter,
Dude, come on.
beating up women because that was the cool thing to do in the 90s.
What?
Um,
Sorry, that's something Stone Cold says a lot of times. So.
that is.
Yeah. What?
Well, don't say it. When you say it dumb, it makes it sound like Stone Cold isn't cool.
All right, bro. My bad. I can't do this.
You can't do the dumb voice with it because like people are gonna be like, oh, they don't think Stone Cold's cool.
Huh?
Yeah, like Stone Cold is the coolest motherfucker of all time. Braden, I need you to say it.
He is the coolest motherfucker of all time.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
So the guy, through the translator, he says, this is our country, and you shouldn't be here. You're going to tell that message to America, or I'm going to make you tell it. So like basically like, hey, we have the camera set up there. You're going to say it one way or another. And then they escort Toby and the other Marine, and they separate them. So they go in separate cells, and it looks like it's
I was hoping
just a
Toby
deep
was
valley.
I was hoping Toby was going to try and have like some very deep, sentimental conversation with the main boss. Wouldn't that be something? Just be like, what's your perspective on life? What do you think the meaning is? And they just get really deep, and before you know it, they're like best friends, and they're like popping brews, and like fuck the war. And
I wouldn't have liked that
You
nearly
wouldn't.
as much. So I didn't really like this movie. I would have liked that scenario less, though.
really,
Yeah.
because
If he just became friends with the guy and then like they went their separate ways.
yeah.
Because like the only parts in this movie I genuinely liked happened in like the last 20 minutes of it.
No, you're right.
And
I'm
none of that
full
would have
shit.
happened.
That's
in
not
this
dramatic
scenario.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
The only good part of the movie was because something like that didn't happen.
I know. I'm kidding.
We're back in the U.S. Jake and the boys are walking in the house. They're whistling. I've been working on the railroad. It's whistle while you work, you know?
Yeah.
The dad's wife goes in, and like Natalie Portman's just laying in bed, not getting up. She goes in and checks on her. She's like, "You doing all right?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She's like, "All right," and then she leaves. She's like, she like brought the girls home from school or something. Then Natalie Portman goes downstairs, and Jake and the boys, like the girls are helping paint the kitchen, and they're telling
This part was-
they're telling stories about Tobey Maguire, like the big dude from Remember the Titans and American History X is like, your dad was a great quarterback. Did you ever get to see him play? And she's like, no. He's like, yeah, he was small, but he was quick and he could throw the ball. Like they're just
Yeah.
these girls. They were young when their dad died. These guys have stories of their dad that they never would have heard. Like
Yeah.
it's a cool little moment. And then Maggie spills paint on one of the guys who is under the sink.
And he just took it so personal.
Yeah, like right off the rip, he's like, he's a fucking new cheese.
He hops up on his feet.
Angry.
He's like, what the fuck?
Hops up on his feet, hits his head getting up. Like he's mad about it. And Jake Gyllenhaal's
They're probably like $10 work shorts. You know what I'm saying? Like,
also, these are my new jeans. Like, you know, you're fucking painting a kitchen that day. Don't wear new jeans, you psycho.
yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal's like, dude, she's sorry. She didn't mean to do it. She's a kid. Like, what did he do? Like,
He kept pressing it.
yeah, like he was angry for a while. Natalie Portman's like, let me grab you some clothes. And like, eventually, he's like, all right, well, and like, he's like, let's go. I want to hug everybody. And like, he's going to hug people. Like, he goes from like pissed, like this is bullshit,
Yeah,
to like joking around, like, all right, everybody hug me, and like he's chasing them around the kitchen.
Yeah, and then Natalie goes upstairs to get the clothes, and she starts having a little mental breakdown because she pulls one of his clothes off the hangers, and then before you know it, she's just pulling all of them off.
Okay.
Piles them all up. She's having fucking sobbing a little bit. She comes down like she's all happy, like she's not sobbing, and she's like, "Here's all the clothes." Almost like a little crazy. You sure?
No, it's like, just take all these clothes. Like, oh, I just need a shirt and pants. She's like, please just take all those clothes. He's like, the guy didn't get like what was everyone else but that guy did. He's like, what do you want me to like return them? Like, what do we?
And Jake's like, no, take them.
American History X guy goes, dude, take the fucking clothes.
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
he could tell
I
she's not handling this. Was like, dude, take the clothes. Like, what is wrong? He's like, I'm just asking.
I don't get it. All right, I'm still flustered over the paint.
Yeah, so she
walks.
walks.
But right before this though, he was sitting in his fucking underwear in the kitchen, and Jake is just like, oh man, those are great underwear. They just fit you so well. I mean, just from like the thigh to waist ratio, and like he's just going like really into it. It's fucking hilarious.
Just boys being boys.
Dude,
you know?
Jake's a funny guy between the nose and the short or the pants, like or the boxers, like. He's got a bunch of little,
for this.
Yeah, he's a bunch of little comments.
But she like walks into the next room and she's crying, and Jake kind of goes over, and it's kind of like she sees him, he sees her. They don't like, nothing's said in the moment, but it's kind of just a little like, it's gonna be okay. Back in Afghanistan,
fucking splash water right on the face. Toby wakes up, eyes just wired as always,
and they're torturing the fuck out of his buddy.
Yeah.
Right in front of Tobey Maguire. Making him watch it.
It was burning, right? Like, weren't they burning him? Or
they were burning. So I rewound it a couple times and watched it. They're burning the buddy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they were taking like a pole, like a metal pole.
Hot thing, and they're like burning his calf and shit. And like,
bro, that's pussy shit, bro. They do that in fucking fraternities all over the country, bro. That's the initiation. Oh, you want to be in the fraternity? Gotta get branded. Like a fucking cow.
So can I get a metal? Can I get a metal rod and burn you on the calf, and we'll see how well you can handle it?
Be excruciating, but
yeah, it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So they're torturing the fuck out of the dude in front of Toby. He's screaming, and that dude sings like a bird. He's like the next scene, the guy goes up to Toby and he's like, "We know you have a wife. We know you have 2 daughters. We know they live in whatever town in Michigan."
Do you think they would have made it worse if the dude was like turned on by it? Like, do you think they would have changed?
You just got to find different torture methods.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you think they would have changed it?
If
he's like, oh, I fucking love getting burned.
Yeah, if he's rock hard,
like
for
literally popping a boner.
Yeah, like they got to change it. Yeah.
Or do you think they're just like?
No, they'd have to change it.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So there might be a scene later where like one of the guards is like, "Hey, so you're into this, huh?"
This is where my mind goes when I watch fucked up shit. Like, oh, what if he liked it?
But so that guy just sings like a bird, and now Toby's like, fuck. All right.
Didn't do exactly what I told you to do for fucking weeks now.
Yeah. Surprise party for Natalie Portman back in the U.S.
Which they don't say how long it's been, but I'm guessing it's weeks. What would you think?
So the private at one point said we've been here for 2 months.
Oh.
I think
2 months.
Later there's a newspaper article.
And they said in fine print like how long it was or something. I just didn't
Not in fine print. Just
like in the newspaper, I'm saying, like,
yeah, it was in the article.
That's what I'm saying.
12 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's 3 months.
Okay.
I wish it would have been. Just 'cause it's a fucking movie.
I wonder what they were feeding them.
It's a movie, so make it like a year,
right?
You know, like 12 weeks. Like 12 weeks being a prisoner and being tortured and shit. You're like, yeah, that would suck.
But it's not going to be like.
But it's a movie.
Yeah.
Make it a year.
Make it more excruciating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking movie.
Yeah.
So surprise party for Natalie Portman. Kitchen's done. It looks amazing. Did a great job. Dad tells Jake that he did a great job.
Yeah. So now you're starting to see like these character arcs, really start to change, and you
Jake Gyllenhaal's becoming the golden boy.
Yeah, and him and his father, fixing their relationship and a bunch of other little things that are happening where I don't want to say too much.
Yeah,
but
so next scene, Jake Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman are taking the daughters ice skating. Like they're walking.
Yep.
And one of the daughters runs up to, like, they're calling her and she's not listening. Like she runs up to two strangers that are walking. And they're like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Trying to beat my mom to the ice skating rink." And they're like, "Oh, we better wait for her." And Isabel, the older, is back walking with Jake Gyllenhaal, and she goes, "Everybody loves Maggie." And he goes, "Why's that?" She goes, "'Cause she's lovable." And, like, kind of makes, like a nobody loves me face. And Jake Gyllenhaal goes, "Your dad saved me in that river once. I was drowning, and he dove in and saved me. You're a lot like your dad."
Can I pause really quick?
Yeah.
And just say, one of the other founding kings, Corbin, saved a young girl recently from a river.
You serious?
I swear to God. I'm like, "Bro, you're not kidding me." Like, he's like, "No, I swear to God." He saw this girl, like, in this river, and it was like, how do I say it? Like, it was, strong. So it was, like, really pushing her down the stream.
Yeah.
And he, like, jumped in and, like, grabbed her and swam her to shore and, like, literally saved her fucking life.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And he's like, "Yeah, this just happened a couple weeks ago." So look at that. The Kings.
Corbin Finlayson, ladies and gentlemen. Let's... Corbin, I love you, buddy. Had I known that, I would have planned a phone call with Corbin once we got to this point. Corbin doesn't answer his fucking phone a lot, so I don't. It'd be a terrible pot. We're just calling him. He's like, "Oh, he's not answering."
Yeah.
Corbin, I love you. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's what the Kings are all about right there.
Yeah. He's like, "You're a lot like your dad," and she goes, "Am I a lot like my mom too?" She goes, "Oh, you're a spitting image. Like, you're just like her, except you're yourself. And everybody loves you, Issy."
So, like, God, I love Jake now.
He's taking over his dad.
Yeah.
Like, that's, like, Isabel, like, smiles and looks up at him.
And that's exactly what she needed to hear,
Yeah, because, like, next they're ice skating, and he's, like, grabbing the girls, like, holding their hands and stuff. Like, he's filling that dad void in their life.
Yeah, and then he immediately goes and fills the other void in his life where Toby brought it up in the beginning about, I guess he robbed a bank. That's how I guess he got into jail. And they had, like, a part where he was smoking a cigarette on the side of the street, like, in front of the bank that he robbed. And the woman that I guess he robbed, the teller or whatever, walked right by him. He kind of turned his back to her, and then ended up kind of, like, getting the courage to go in and I guess, like, apologize and everything like that.
It's my only problem. We don't see it.
We don't see it, but that's what he ends up saying to Natalie.
I would have liked to have seen it.
The only thing you see is him right out. Yeah, I would have liked to see it too.
See him going, because then it cuts to him telling Natalie Portman about it.
Yeah.
And it was, like, the lady, he was telling her about it, and she said that she kept having nightmares that he came back and shot her. And it's like, now he's like, "Oh, man, what did she say?" She said...
She was, like, crying, and she was...
so no, that wasn't me saying, "What did she say?" This was Jake Gyllenhaal saying, I'm quoting him, yeah. He goes, what did she say? He's like, "She said she could breathe again."
Yeah.
Now that I did this. And then she asked if I wanted to open an account.
And I did.
So I opened an account. And then he makes a joke. He's like, "I can't wait to start bouncing checks there." And, like, they laugh. And there's a U2 song playing. And,
Bono!
And Jake Gyllenhaal goes, "Man, when I was 17 or 18, I used to listen to this song just over and over again." And Natalie Portman goes, "Me too." He's like, "Really?" She's like,
"That's all it takes, David."
She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You're surprised?" He's like, "Yeah, I pegged you for more of an NSYNC person." And she's like, "Oh.
Fuck you."
Yeah, she's like, "What?" And she's like, "No." And, like, she's like, "Hand me that." He's smoking a joint. She's like, "Hand me that." And, like, starts smoking the joint with him.
That totally threw me for a loop, because I'm like, how is she okay with him just, like, pulling out a joint and smoking it in the house with the daughters upstairs? And...
She's fucking cool, bro.
Oh, yeah, because she says, "I'm not a square. Hand me that."
Yeah. Hand me that. She smokes. He's like, "Man, you were a pain in the ass back in the day, though." And she's like, "No, I wasn't." She's like, "I just didn't like you." Guys always think, like, if girls don't pay attention to them, that they're difficult.
She's like, "You were just a drunk or something."
You were just always drunk and fighting people.
Yeah.
And then they lean in and kiss each other. And, like, they kiss. They both engage. She, like, grabs the back of his head. Like, they're both engaging fully on it. And
Yeah.
then they kind of back off and have like an fuck moment.
Shit.
Like, yeah, you're my dead military hero brother's fucking wife. So they kiss, and she's like, I should go get some hair. And then Jake starts crying, and then he leaves out the back door, leaving the back door wide open, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah, just wide open. Just...
How many bugs could have got in?
Wait, it's like snowing and shit. Like,
Yeah.
no way she wants her back door wide open. She's two kids. Like, just leaves it wide open and storms out. And then later, you can tell some time has passed.
Be great too if he's like, oh, I forgot to close the door. And Eric's like, dude, I don't give a shit, bro. We're gonna
Yeah,
keep
just
it.
You can tell some time has passed. She's in bed. She goes to read the letter from Tobey Maguire, but can't. Jake Gyllenhaal's in bed. I can't tell if he's at a motel still. It's been months, but
Yeah.
I think he's still at a motel. He goes to like pick up the phone, like he's gonna call her, and then he can't.
Yeah. And
Cut-
then
Cut
Yeah.
back to Afghanistan.
yeah, we're back at Afghanistan.
So
That's when shit starts to get dark. So they were now burning Toby. They were torturing him.
yeah, they're torturing the fuck out of Toby, and then they
And then it's like
him
the next
out.
day or something, I think,
They
right?
bring him out in the middle of the day, and like everyone's gathered around in a big circle. They're videotaping it, and the private is just on the ground, like down on his knees in the middle of it. And they bring Toby over there. They hand him a metal pipe, and they go, "He's not of use to us anymore. He's dead weight. He's a waste of food. Kill him." And Toby's like, "I'm not gonna fucking do that." And then like puts the pipe down, and then they point a gun at him, and they're like, "Pick up the fucking pipe and kill
dude,
him."
yeah, they built this
And
scene up.
like it was like he's like, "Pick up the pipe and kill him, or you're gonna die. It's you or him." And everyone's screaming. They're like, "Kill him! Kill him! Kill him!" And he's feeding off the energy. It reminds me, Braden. Do you remember? It was the 2007 Miami Dolphins season. Dolphins-Raiders. Raiders had Dante Culpepper as their quarterback. It was raining. We were in the upper deck, and a fight broke out a section away from us.
David, how could I forget?
So, fight broke out in the section away from us. Security's over there breaking it up, and people are chanting, "Tase him! Tase him!" Like, people are screaming it. The security guard, guys, I swear to God this happened.
Yeah, I swear to God.
Security guard, like, looked around and was like, yeah, pulled out. He had, like, a stun gun, like a handheld, like, up-close and personal taser.
Gun, yeah.
He turns it on and holds it in the air like a fucking professional
Shakes
wrestler.
it in the air.
Like, shaking it like, yeah! And you could see,
Yeah,
like, the
yeah.
electric current, and then tases the guy.
And then, yeah, and then everyone's like, he's like, yeah, yeah. Everyone's like, yeah. And he starts tasering him. He's like, yeah.
And the crowd's like, yeah!
Yeah, everyone starts cheering, bro.
Like, it was fucking wild.
I literally just told that story 2 days ago to a bunch of buddies. And it was like the hardest thing for anyone to believe. I'm like, no, I swear to God.
It is-
This security guard was like, yeah, yeah. And just started fucking tasering the shit out of this dude. Because he was a Raiders fan who got in a fight. And he was like, fuck this guy.
I hope that guy still works for the stadium.
Yeah.
I hope he's still doing
I
security
hope he's the main security guard. Like he is.
They promoted him.
Yeah,
They're like, we
he's
need more of that around
yeah,
here.
Yeah, we need some real security. Someone who's really going to lay down the law.
So they're doing that to Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire acts just like that security guard. He just beats the guy to death in front of everyone on camera, and just like starts screaming and crying, and then we leave that.
Yeah, which is pretty dark. But this is the best thing. I was hoping, I mean, obviously I knew this was not going to happen, but I wanted this to happen so bad. I wanted all of the Afghanistan soldiers just to be like super surprised and be like, oh shit, he actually did it. Holy fuck, he actually killed that guy. Like, can you imagine if they were like, dude, we were joking.
Like, dude, that's wild.
Why would you kill him?
You were his commanding officer. That's
your
crazy.
private. We were gonna let you guys go. What did you do?
They have a whole like legitimate court trial in Afghanistan. Like the Taliban's like, you're not our problem anymore. Like the government's coming to get you. We're fucking, this is crazy.
I can't believe you would do that.
He gets put to death for murder.
These
in
guns are
Afghanistan.
fake.
Like,
There's squirt guns. I would lose my shit. That could be such a good comedy right there. Let's go make that skit, David. I'm about to kill you, or I kill you. And then we'll have like Hoff and Corbin be a bunch of Afghanistan soldiers, and that'll be great, right?
It'd be awful, but we should do it.
Be good views on YouTube, right?
Not as good as my chest chop.
If you guys haven't seen the chest chop, definitely go check it out on YouTube. It's amazing.
It's your guys. I chopped my chest up, and like only 28 people have viewed it. I'm gonna need some more views on that.
Yeah, buck that
to
fucking
make
number
that
up.
worthwhile.
All right? This man still has a fucking imprint on his chest. So, yeah, go check it out.
Check it out. 5'6" Kings on YouTube.
Yeah.
With an S at the end.
Yep.
So Daddy Jake shows up to the house. He's like, I gotta fix some shit in the kitchen. Natalie Portman lets him in. And he's like, look, I'm sorry I did all that yesterday, but like I want to still be able to come by and see the girls. And Natalie Portman's like, I absolutely want you to come by and see the girls. Like, of course, I want you in my life.
Hook,
like,
line, and sinker.
yeah. So Dad, Sam Shepard, walks in. He's like, where'd you learn to be so handy? Like, when he's fixing shit.
Which is funny because that's his dad, you know. It's probably his dad who taught him that shit, you'd think, right?
Or prison.
Or you
Prison
think prison's
took-
teaching him how to have, like, handyman skills?
Yeah, they got classes.
Shit,
Took
maybe.
a class in prison.
Yeah.
So we're back in Afghanistan. The Taliban is under attack. There's some shooting back and forth. Nothing super cool happens. They're shooting back and forth. Abu Nazir dies.
Oh, yeah. This is funny, too, because it's like the dude knows he's, like, about to get murked. Like, the main Afghanistan guy we're talking about. And instead of, like, jumping on one of the whips that they had there and trying to flee, he just tries to kill the fucking... he just tries to kill Tobey Maguire and misses. Like, it's like, how do you miss 30 fucking shots with an AK-47 from literally 30 feet away? Not even.
Yeah, so that part's silly. But,
Right, though?
it makes sense. So, like, the main leader got the fuck out of there.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of like a couple of the higher-ups got out of there. Abu Nazir was the translator.
Yeah.
And it would kind of make sense because, like, maybe the U.S. doesn't know that whoever, like if Osama bin Laden was somewhere, and they're like, maybe
it makes sense for him to stay behind, like as if he got killed, like he was the leader. Kind of
like
thing.
he was the big deal, like that
Yeah.
was their big get. This was his cell.
Yeah.
They don't know bin Laden was there. They
Yeah.
don't realize how close they are to bin Laden.
No, I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
More for me, it was like
Didn't make sense
why
that he
is-
missed.
Well, that he missed, or that he would care to kill this prisoner
So
rather than like trying.
Tobey Maguire is a captain in the Marines. He would know who.
Oh, true.
He would know
did
who that boss guy was.
Did they find out that he was a captain at that point?
Yeah, his thing said Captain Cahill.
Oh, true,
They knew
true,
he
true.
was a captain. Yeah, they knew he
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
wife and kids and shit.
Oh, they did find that out though.
Yeah,
like,
so like
okay.
they would want to kill him, so he wasn't like, oh, fucking.
I found out all this other information
Like
about
bin
them
Laden
too.
was here. Like
Yeah.
he's close. Like you guys can go fucking catch
No,
him.
yeah, you're right. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
But like the execution was piss poor.
Yeah, how do you miss?
But so like, and something you see, so army or whatever military branch it was that found him there. You could also see, like, while this is all happening, they find Tobey Maguire. They get him out of there. They're like, "Are you a Marine?" He's like, "I'm Captain Sam Cahill," and like they're helping him up. And you see the video camera just on fire over the thing, so footage is destroyed.
Yeah.
Back in the U.S., Daddy Jake is at the house. He's building a snowman and having a snowball fight with the girls. He picks up the snowman's head and throws it at Isabel.
Yeah.
And Isabel, I got excited because like Isabel didn't move. And
She
he's
played
like,
it off
He's like,
really
Izzy?
well.
He's like, Izzy? And like shakes her and he's like, hey, whatever Natalie's name is, Natalie. And then Isabel starts laughing. And I was like, how great would like just he gets too into the snowball fight and just fucks up the kid? Like,
Yeah,
take it easy, Jake.
Full on
Gyllenhaal.
CTE from the fucking snowball fight.
So it was all a joke, though. They're fucking with Uncle Tommy. As this is happening, Natalie Portman gets a phone call and
Can you imagine?
like starts, dude, like her eyes kind of light up and she starts crying. And then Jake Gyllenhaal walks in. And he's like, "What's going on?" And she doesn't say anything, but you could tell it's something
Yeah.
emotional. Next scene, they're at an airport. Everyone's there to greet.
Surprise, surprise.
Tobey Maguire's back. So like they all knew why they were there.
No,
And
I
we're
know.
like, what?
I'm saying for us.
It'd be great if everybody's like, you gotta go to the airport. We got a little surprise for you.
Oh my god!
And then if it wasn't him, what a letdown that would be.
Yeah, right. Oh my god.
We're taking you to Disney, like stuff like that. They'd be like, oh, we thought maybe our dad was alive still. So he comes out. Everyone greets him. Jake Gyllenhaal, like, he hugs him. You can tell he kind of doesn't know how to feel about it.
Oh, they played that part perfect too, because they all end up walking away down the hallway, and he's like the last one sitting there.
But so before that, he goes to give Natalie Portman a little look, and she doesn't look at him.
Yeah,
she just keeps walking, and then he's kind of like,
I get it.
Yeah,
I'm back where I was.
Yeah, I'm Uncle Tommy now.
Yep.
And then as they're walking, he kind of smiles because he's like, it's settling in. Like, you know, my fucking brother's alive. Like,
I love that because yeah, exactly. He like, you could tell that he has this moment where he's like he understands he's going to be missing out on certain things that he wanted, but at the same time he's happy because he's still gained like certain things about himself that he'll still be able to, you know, carry and you know, like he's more of a grown person. He's more grown into himself now, to where it's like, okay, well, I still have my brother back and everything. I could still be more of myself, even though I might not be with Natalie or
yeah, for sure.
But no, it was great to see the way he played that. I mean, they did great.
And then, so they're back at the house. They show Tobey Maguire Uncle Tommy's kitchen. And then Tobey Maguire, like, they go up to the bedroom. He lays in the bed. All the girls laying there. He's like, I got all my, you're all my girls, or something like that.
I got all my girls with me.
And Maggie goes, we sure are, or something. Maggie, the youngest daughter.
Like, he's happy, but he's also, like, I mean, he's super quiet and, like, a little kind of timid, but like he's happy, but you could tell he's got some shit underneath his skin, you know.
He
like,
just murdered someone with a pipe.
No, yeah. Like the family doesn't realize it, but you can kind of tell from the way all of his mannerisms and stuff that he's got some shit going on.
Yeah, and like, and even in the next scene, he's shaving in the bathroom. Yeah. Natalie Portman comes in and he like jumps and goes, I locked that door. She goes, oh, the lock's broken. And then she kind of goes up and like kisses him on the shoulder, and he goes, I'm just gonna finish shaving.
Yeah, they showed that he has like a bunch of like bruises on his back or some shit.
Yeah, but you can tell the whole thing. He's just kind of off-putting, kind of not. Like she went in and was like kissing him. He's like, I'm just gonna finish shaving.
No, yeah. Like you could tell he's
like, okay, and then she leaves. And then you see Jake Gyllenhaal's reading the news story about the dead Marine. That's just a newspaper article that Private whatever Willis died. Tobey Maguire's working on his truck, and his dad walks up. He's like, "Oh,"
and like, what was he doing? It was like he was like trying to rip off the front
ripping
bumper.
The fender off. Yeah, it was crazy. He's like, "Oh man, you want to take this to the shop?" And he's like, "No, I'll do it." Nothing.
He was just like roughing it.
Nothing else to do.
Oh yeah.
And Dad's like, hey, you know, I never really had anyone to talk to about, you know, what happened over in Nam, and I think I kind of took it out on you boys, but you know, I'm glad you're back, and if you ever need to talk, you can come to me.
Yeah.
So Dad, like, and then Dad walks away. You can tell Dad, like, super uncomfortable, doesn't talk about his feelings.
That's the last time we see the dad, right?
No.
No? Isn't that one that? Then isn't that like one of the last things he says, or maybe I'm tripping?
No, you're wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was. Maybe I'm tripping.
He's just like, you know, if you ever want to talk, I'm here. And Tobey Maguire doesn't say anything. Then they're ice skating. Tobey Maguire is sitting on the side watching while Jake Gyllenhaal, Natalie Portman, and the girls are skating. Jake's being great with the kids, and then
he's like there. You could tell he's having fun and really enjoying himself. Yeah,
comes over on the side where Tobey Maguire's sitting, and he's like, "Hey, thanks for taking care of them, man. I didn't expect that." And he's like, "Of course, dude. Like I surprised myself. Honestly, it really makes me think." He's like, "Yeah." And then he goes, Natalie's pretty great, huh? And Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't say anything. And then Tobey Maguire goes, did you fuck her? He's like, you both thought I was dead, man. I'd forgive you, but I need you to be honest. If you fucked her. You guys look like two teenagers in love out there. You can't deny that. Like,
yeah.
If you fucked her, I'd forgive you, but you need to tell me. Don't bullshit me. I know you slept at my house. Just intense. And he's like, what's going on in your head, man? Make me think. Like, no, I didn't fuck your wife. Well, you're dead, man. Well, we thought you were dead. Like, I didn't fuck her.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Which is true, and you know, like I can get where Toby's coming from as well, like to be suspicious, especially if you know that he was sleeping there, you know, like, and I feel him, like, dude, you know, let me know if you did, and I will forgive you, you know, like you guys thought I was dead,
like whatever.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense that you know all that happened.
If I die, I don't want my wife to just be alone forever with the 2 kids,
especially if it's like my brother's an actual good guy and is gonna like take care of the kids.
So his brother was as far as when Toby left, his brother was a piece of shit. His brother wasn't great when he left for Afghanistan. So
you're right.
That's the one thing.
We saw the story.
We saw what a great guy he was. He's gone, but back at the house, the Marine that Tobey Maguire killed, his wife is there with Joe Jr. and the kid.
Yeah.
And the kid's like crawling over. Toby's standing in another room listening to her talk, and she's like, I just have dreams every night where, you know, he's trying to talk to me and then all of his teeth fall out, and Toby's there, and I'm just mad at him. And that's why I'm here. Like, I want to apologize. Like, I don't know why I feel so much anger towards him.
Crazy.
And the kid's like crawling over into the other room, and she goes over to get the kid and sees that Toby was just standing there listening. And
it reminds me of when Toby was standing over the Green Goblin in Spider-Man 1.
Doesn't remind me of that at all.
No? Not when Green Goblin's like dead and Toby's sitting there and just staring with his wired eyes looking at Green Goblin, realizing that he just killed what is basically his father, and now this is like the same thing, but instead of the father, it's the father's son. Holy fuck, dude.
It was nothing like that. It was nothing like that.
I'm actually going to pull comparison shots.
Private Joe Willis was nothing like Tobey Maguire's father.
No. I'm saying the guy that he killed is the son's father, and like Green Goblin was like almost like Tobey Maguire's father in Spider-Man. So it's like this weird nuance between.
But in that scenario, the kid is Tobey Maguire, the kid crawling.
I'm having crazy deja vu right now.
You're out of your mind, dude.
Yeah,
you're out of your fucking mind.
We've been here before.
So she comes over, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Toby." She's like, Did you see my husband die? Were you around when it happened? And he lies and says no. And
I was really hoping that he was going to be like, yeah. Like, I killed him. Like,
I killed him with a pipe.
Yeah.
It was brutal. Later on at night, it's middle of the night. He's reorganizing the kitchen fucking loudly. Natalie Portman's laying in bed awake. And like like a dog barks, and he grabs his gun and looks out the window. Like he's just fucking losing it.
Yeah, he has PTSD
and he's not working through it with anybody.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire goes back to the base the next morning, and he tells his commanding officer, he's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be back with my men. And the guy goes, how's the family? And he just goes, I can't be there, sir.
They don't get it.
They don't get it. Nobody gets it. And the guy's like, yeah. He's like, it's going to take some time, Captain. You've been through a lot.
And so is your family.
You gotta take some time. And he's not pumped about that, but like whatever. Like he can't be like, no, put me in. He's having dinner with the family. And Maggie, the youngest, is talking about this dog that she saw that she named Elephant because he had big floppy ears. And he just doesn't get it. He's like, an elephant isn't a dog. And she's like, well, because of the ears. You get like the mom and the other sister are laughing, and he's like, no, why would you say elephant if it's a dog? And she's like, because of the ears. It's a joke, Dad. You get it? And then he just gets up from the table, like, upset.
Well, at first he was, like, kind of smiling like he didn't get it. Like, I don't really get it, you know? And, like...
It wasn't... But, like, his smile didn't feel like a laughing smile.
No, yeah, 100%. But I think what really set him off more so was Natalie, honestly. Because, like, she was like, relax. And, it's not like he was, like, flipping out right there or anything. He was just like, I'm just confused. I don't get the joke. And she's like, relax. And I'm like, dude, you can't tell him to relax when he's like trying to relax.
So, but no, because his tone was like, you could feel tension, and you could see the girls were nervous about like how he was reacting to that.
Yeah, I felt like
you could tell like he wasn't yelling, But you could tell, like, he was annoyed and, like, irritated by
like,
elephant being the name.
Well,
he was like, it's a dog, Maggie.
Well, it just shows, like, how his mind isn't able to comprehend comedy because he's so serious because of his, like, PTSD and shit. Like, he can't build the connection. I personally just feel like they slightly missed. I feel like they could have. I don't know. I felt like it was still good. I'm not trying to just being a critic.
So, I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't like an awesome scene, but like he was kind of. You could tell it was a weird, like a weird angry energy about it.
Yeah.
And that's so like the next scene, like they don't leave the house, but like he gets up and leaves, and Natalie Portman's like, "Hey, Daddy's gonna be okay," and one of the girls goes, "When's Uncle Tommy coming?"
But then she goes and like tries to talk to him, and she's like, "You need to talk to me. You need to tell me like what happened." And then what is he doing? He's just not.
He says, "What happened with you and Tommy?"
Oh yeah, that's right.
And she tells the truth.
Yeah,
she goes, "We kissed. That's it. We were hanging out. We were both sad. We both missed you so much. We had a moment. We kissed, and that was the end of it." She's like, "Now, what's going on with you? Like, you be honest with me." And he goes, just like, "Honestly, I think you're fucking Tommy."
And then walks
and then
off.
He leaves and like storms out. And the one daughter is by the door and watches him leave, angry, grab his coat.
And then he goes to
the grave of that dude he killed.
Yeah, and he basically spends like the night there, and which I'm like, damn, that's a long time to be at the fucking graveyard unless he left at like 4 a.m. or something.
He's a fucking Marine that was just in prison.
He's used to the
time.
cold. I'm sure you could be out there for hours.
Nothing. That's nothing.
No, I guess you're right.
But the next day, so the daughters daughters are playing in the backyard, and he walks into the backyard
through like the fucking
like away from the house.
Yeah,
like through the bushes and shit.
Yeah,
like coming from the opposite direction.
Like super weird.
And both daughters are just scared.
Yeah,
they're both like and he walks up and he like, hey girls, what's wrong? You playing in the backyard? Why are you so upset? And they're just not. They're both uncomfortable.
Well, he was like, I was just confused. And
he's
stuff.
like, I was confused. I love you girls so much. I love your mom so much. He's like,
it's gonna be okay.
Then he made a joke. He was like, why'd the girl blush when she opened the fridge?
It was and
the girls both say because she saw the salad dressing. He goes, have I told you that joke before? And they go, yeah, you told us. And then he gets down and hugs them, and the older daughter's like crying during this. She's like, Dad's trying to say he's okay, but he's fucking not okay. Like, I do not feel good about this. He walks in through the front door, by the way. So that means he came in through the back corner of their yard and then walked around the house and went in the front door. And Natalie Portman's watching this whole fucking thing.
Yeah, maybe he didn't want to seem as weird to Natalie or something. I don't know.
Just freak out my kids and then put on the face for my wife.
Maybe you realize he freaked out the kids and doesn't want to freak out Natalie now by walking into the back.
Yeah,
but it's like Grandpa does it.
But you go in the back door and you're like, I was in the back with the kids.
Yeah.
But
now it seems more weird that you're going to walk around when Natalie knows you just came through the back.
Yeah. She's like, hey, where were you? You were gone all night. And he was like, I was thinking about you and the kids and how much I love you and how I'm so lucky to be alive. And next thing I knew, the sun came up. End of that scene.
Yeah.
The whole time, it's just fucking weird tension. Like, you don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Yeah. And then it's
Maggie's birthday at Grandpa's house?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's Jake Gyllenhaal isn't there yet. They're all like, Maggie opens one present from Grandpa.
Yeah, he's like, she's begging to open up presents. And they're like, oh, wait for Jake, but go open up one until he gets here. And the moment she goes and grabs a present, he shows up. But shows up with some random girl.
Brings a date.
Yeah, brings a date. Which is like fucking hilarious because he's obviously doing this.
Well, so he even says, oh, it's an old friend. And she goes, we met an hour ago.
He's like, an hour and a half.
You got a real charmer on your hands here.
Yeah, which is like, he's got to be a charmer to bring some random
What's
girl.
What's going on in that girl's life where she's going to a child's birthday party with a guy she just met?
She said she was a nurse, too.
Yeah, like this girl seemed like she had shit together, and you're just like, why is she?
She's a good-looking girl,
why
too.
Why is she showing up at this small family get-together as his date? Like, why is she cool with this?
Jake's a charmer.
He's a fucking charmer. But so, like, Isabel opens the door, and it's Jake and that girl, and she just, like, storms away. She's not happy that he brought some girl there.
She gets it too. She's like, oh, he's doing this for shit.
Yeah. So they're at the table.
Imagine being that young and realizing how immature all these adults are.
Yeah.
And that you have to be the most mature. You know, like
they're at the table. Maggie's like playing with her fucking. She has a turtle. She's playing with it and explaining, like, holding court. Everyone's paying attention to Maggie.
Yeah.
And Toby just kind of quickly looks at Izzy and goes, "Quit playing with your cake." Or no, hold on.
No, that's what it was.
No. Quit playing with your cake. It was angry.
Yeah,
it was fucking
yeah.
angry, but quiet under his breath.
Yep.
And she stopped for a minute. Jake's date is just way out of line, talking about how, like, Marines they're trained to kill, but they aren't trained to deal with.
She was out
someone.
of line, but she was though.
Right, but like you're at a fucking house with 2 Marines.
When one just came back, and like you were probably told that, like, you
you don't fucking like you don't dive into all of your thoughts on PTSD.
And I was surprised how well
shit.
the father handled it. You would think the father would be the one. You know, he's got PTSD from Nam.
She was a sexy little girl. He was like, "Yeah,
Well, I get it.
tell me about nursing." Like he's just like, "Yeah."
But from like the beginning, I guess it's part of his character's arc.
This whole time, like, Toby's not saying anything. Toby looks like he's just gonna fucking snap at any second.
Yeah,
you're like, "Oh shit."
Them eyes are still wired.
This is when, like, this scene was when the movie. No, when he walked in the backyard. That's when I was like, "All right, this movie's taking a turn that I like." I'm liking what's going on now.
Yeah.
So
they've been building up the entire movie for this.
Yeah, Isabel, she keeps like stealing Maggie's toys and shit. Toby makes her give it back. It's like a whole. Their sisters bickering. Isabel's really upset.
Single person's character's story and relationship, and they're all basically about to collide right now.
Yeah, as he keeps stealing Maggie's shit, Toby's like, "Give it back to her now, Isabel." She gives it back. And
yeah, she keeps stealing her toys, right?
She keeps stealing her toys, and then like the mom says something. She's like, "Maggie gets everything." She's like, "It's her birthday." Like, I didn't get anything I wanted on my birthday. And then she looks at Tobey Maguire and she goes, "And you were in stupid Afghanistan." And like no one says anything about that.
And the girl goes right back to like nursing or some shit. She starts like talking about.
They're just trying to ignore her, and that's pissing Izzy off. Izzy, like, they're trying to ignore her, just carry on a conversation, and Izzy's not having it. Izzy, like, pulls a balloon down, and she's, like, crumpling the balloon, like rubbing up against it, making a really loud noise with it. And Jake Gyllenhaal's date just, like, tries to keep talking about nursing, trying to...
And this is what actually got me pissed off in this scene, is Natalie Portman. You're the wife. Your husband just came home who, you're almost certain he has PTSD. You could tell the relationship between your daughter and your husband is not working that well, and you're going to not be as big of a parent in that moment. You're going to allow your fucking husband who has PTSD to like keep getting egged on by your daughter who obviously has a problem again. You know, like, it's just waiting for something bad to happen. And instead of like Natalie taking it into her own hands and be like, you know, take the daughter to the other room and be like, "Listen, your father's not in a good mood right now. You can't be egging him on." Like, instead she's just like, whatever. Pissed me off. I'm like, Natalie, you gotta be on the ball. You gotta see it.
I mean, of course it's the wife's fault in your ass, though. But like that's a shock to nobody that's listening. Like, it needed to come to a head. The girl's fucking 7. Like, you can't just pull her aside and be like, "Hey, your dad has, like, issues."
That girl's smart as shit.
Your dad has issues that he's not trying to work through, so we need to all be the adults here. Like, you need to let the 7-year-old be a 7-year-old. Dad needs to get help. That, like, you can't just shelter dad from having to deal with. You can't shelter dad from having to deal with his daughter forever because he's not working on his issues. That's crazy.
But she's been the mature one the whole time.
Yeah, but she's fucking 7.
No, I know.
And like, she's allowed to be a 7-year-old. That's what she's doing here.
I'm just kidding.
And while she's doing this with the balloon, Toby just screams, "Enough!" and just grabs and like, pops the balloon. I was like, "Oh shit!" And then she's crying and she goes, "Couldn't you just stay dead? You're just mad because Mom would rather sleep with Uncle Tommy than you."
Oh, and this...
Mom and Uncle Tommy have sex all the time.
Yeah, and
nobody says anything.
That pissed me off because it's like, dude, okay, come on. Dude.
What pissed you off?
That part where no one said anything.
Because, like, what do you...
You immediately say, you look at Toby in his face, whether I'm the brother or Natalie, whether I'm Jake or Natalie, I look at Toby and I say, we've already talked. That has never happened. No matter what she says, that is a lie. Like, you don't allow that to resonate in this dude's head who has PTSD, just came back.
So he's not going to believe them if they say they don't. If they say that he already doesn't believe them, so then it just turns into them arguing with the kid at the table. I guess so. Like, it's a tough scenario. That
I mean,
neither,
I would rather say it than not at all if I was in this scenario.
That's because you have trust issues and you're very defensive and you want to argue. But like,
No,
neither of us.
I don't want to get murdered by my brother later in the night.
And neither of us have ever been in that situation, though. So like, we don't. He obviously isn't going to trust them. And like, it's very possible that like it just escalates the situation at the dinner table. If you're so. It's very possible that it just escalates there if you start disagreeing with the daughter. Because the daughter's like, yeah, they fucking do, Dad. Yeah, they do. Like, you don't know how that's going to play out.
What, you going to listen to the daughter over two full-grown adults, I guess? But
he might.
But this is a big part, too.
So they have a reason to lie if they were fucking. Tobey Maguire isn't going to fucking believe them because he already doesn't. He already thinks they're fucking. So the kid's saying it. If they're like, no, we weren't, he's like, fuck you. Yeah, you were.
Well, this is another thing that got me a little upset. Natalie's reaction was good. But, like, Jake's reaction made it seem like she was telling the truth. He literally was like, he literally had this face like, all right, well, I guess. Kind of like, I guess.
So he's like, the first part's true. Like, you should have stayed dead, and she would rather sleep with me than you.
He literally had the most, like, casual looking face. Like, all right, well, you kind of caught us. I was like, oh, Jake, that's not the way to react.
If you're Jake's date, like, what are you like? You're like, why the fuck am I here right now? Like, this is wild.
Maybe that's the type of shit she's into.
This is the craziest thing I've ever been a part of.
So then we get to fucking...
So it's a car ride home with the family, Toby and Natalie and the two girls, and there's not a fucking word said in this car ride.
Why are you letting him drive?
It's just... Because, like, you're not going to be like, no, dude, so, like, that's the thing. Why are you letting him? Why aren't you protecting? He's a fucking full-grown adult. If you're like, hey, babe, you're angry, let me drive. He's like, fuck you, I'm driving. He's not going to be like, yeah, you're right. Like...
I guess.
It's if he's like, I'm going to drive, you're like, yeah, whatever. Or you don't go home with him.
Is that his car, though?
If you're that scared, it's the family car. They're fucking husband and wife.
You think you would just grab the keys and start driving, though?
What if he was, I'm driving?
Oh, shit.
Give me the keys, I'm driving. Are you going to be like, you either don't go with him or you let him drive you and the girls home?
Yeah.
Like, you don't make a stand there and you're like, no, I'm driving. Like,
maybe, bro. I mean, if you think someone's going to, like...
You don't. So then you don't go with him if you're that scared. You don't go home with him.
No, yeah, you're right.
You're like, me and the girls are staying here tonight. Go home. Like, if you're that scared, you don't go home.
Yeah.
Or you let him drive if he wants to drive.
Well,
you don't make an argument and a stand over driving.
I immediately start thinking about like scenarios like Chris Benoit or some shit. And I'm just like,
winning the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 20.
Exactly.
And a classic. Him, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. One of the best WrestleMania main events of all time.
No, honestly.
That is a
for sure.
Great match.
Yeah.
Say what you want about Chris Benoit.
One of the best wrestlers.
Between the ropes, one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
One of the... WWE will never put him on a list.
They won't.
But, like, between the ropes, he's up there with Eddie Guerrero and Shawn Michaels and fucking Ricky the Dragon Steamboat as far as just best in the ring.
Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yeah. So, back at the house, it's bedtime. Natalie Portman's putting the girls down, and the older girl, she's like, why'd you say that when you know it's not true? She's like, I'm sorry, Mom. I don't like Dad. I'd rather Uncle Tommy be around. And the younger girl goes, me too. So, like, girls, and she goes, Dad's going to be better. He just needs some time, but Dad's going to be okay. And she goes, really? And she's like, yeah. Just, thanks, Mom. I love you. And they hug. Cut to Natalie Portman's in the bedroom looking out the window. And Tobey Maguire's just pacing around the backyard, like looking around the fence, holding his gun, like he's ready, like something's about to happen.
Dude, can you imagine if one of the neighbors was out?
Yeah, and they're like, hey, he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, Captain Cahill, just boom.
Done.
So she calls the dad's house, and I guess the the stepmom picks up, and she's like, "Hey, I don't know what's gonna happen." He's like, explains what's going on. Then you see Jake Gyllenhaal. He's at mom and dad's house. He's grabbing his coat and he's getting ready to leave. And the dad's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "You ought to stay out of it. It's none of your damn business." And Jake Gyllenhaal's just not listening and leaves. And then Sam Shepard's wife's like, "You need to call the police."
Yeah.
That's the last time we see Sam Shepard.
Yep.
So back at the McGuire household, Toby's like sitting in the living room. He's holding a metal rod.
And it's just got to be one of those type of scenes where he's sitting in the corner with the chair with the light right over him and everything else is dark in the house. Like, it's just, it's that setup.
He's sitting there with the rod, and Natalie Portman goes, "What is that?"
Yeah, and that's
he
supposed to be
goes-
referencing towards what he got tortured with, right?
It's like same type of thing that he killed that dude with.
Oh, I didn't know if they were going
it's
from
like a big
the
metal
thing that
rod.
he killed or got tortured with.
that he killed that guy with.
Okay.
Because that's what this is all stemming from. The torture, I'm sure, wasn't great, but it's that he had to kill the dude.
No, yeah,
That's
for sure.
what all of this is.
Yeah.
He's sitting there, and she goes, "What is that?" And he goes, "Where are the kids?" And she says, "They're in bed." He goes, "All tucked in?" He's like smirking while he says this.
Good,
All
good,
tucked in?
good.
She goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Good." They say their prayers? She goes, "Uh-huh." He's like, "All right."
That was a weird fucking line.
And then he like gets up and walks over to the kitchen. And he goes, "Do you know what I had to fucking do to get back to you, Grace?" And then he just starts fucking smashing the kitchen with the pipe. This is such a crazy intense scene, guys. If this last 20 guys, so like we've been talking for a half hour on this has been 10 minutes of the movie. If this was more of the movie, this would be so high up there for me.
Yeah.
So much this movie was dog shit, but this was amazing. He's just screaming. He's breaking shit. He's like, "Do you know what I had to fucking do to get back to you, Grace? I fucking love you. I love the girls. Do you know what I had to do?" And then Jake Gyllenhaal walks in through the side, and he's like, "Fuck is he doing here?" And he's like, "Hey, man." He's like, "Calm down." He's like, I love you, man. You're my brother. Just calm down." And he kind of calms down. Gyllenhaal goes in. They're hugging for a second. And then Natalie Portman walks away. She's going to check on the girls upstairs. And he notices she's gone. And then he fucking starts wrestling with Jake a little bit and pulls his gun out.
Puts it right on his fucking neck.
It's on his neck. And then he hears the siren. He's like, "Did you call the fucking police, man? You called the fucking police?" And he's like, I didn't call the police. Like, I don't know why they're coming up. And then he just walks out front.
With the gun.
Walks out front with the gun. And he's like, "Hey, guys, what are you doing here?" They have the gun. Like, "Whoa, put the gun down, Captain Cahill." He's like, "Oh, you know who I am?" They're like, "Yeah, you're a war hero, sir." He's like, "I'm a fucking hero? I ain't a fucking hero. He shoots the gun in the air. He's like, "Shoot me, you fucking pussies. Shoot me. Fucking shoot me." He's screaming at them. It's intense. Neighbors are coming out. He's screaming. They're like, "Captain Cahill, put the gun down." Jake Gyllenhaal's like, "Guys, get the fuck out of here. This is a family matter. Get the fuck out of here." And then he turns, and it's Gyllenhaal and Natalie Portman are out front watching this.
Yep.
He puts the gun up against his head. I'm so excited.
And now they
When
go
this is
to
happening,
his
I am
perspective
so excited.
to where he's hearing all Afghanistan voices, and now he's like getting real deep into
it's
that
all the
PTSD.
scream like when he killed the dude.
Yep.
It's all of those screaming.
Uh-huh.
And then he hears Jake Gyllenhaal coming through.
And he's
he
like,
hears
"You're
his
my
voice,
brother!"
Like, "You're my brother. What's going on with you?" And he just looks at him. He's holding the gun, and he goes, "I'm drowning, Tommy."
No, but she says one thing that I think might have gotten him. She says, "Sam." She screams out, "Sam!"
Maybe, but so it's because he responds to Tommy.
No, yeah,
he
but I
responds
think
Jake
the last
Gyllenhaal.
thing was
he-
her saying "Sam," and then he turned around and then he said, "I'm drowning, Tommy."
I'm drowning, Tommy. And then he drops the gun, and the cops rush him,
Yep.
and they arrest him, and they get him out of there.
And I gotta say, dude, one thing that I think they did great was building, up this whole storyline to this, but the clash between the two brothers, so like their character arcs have completely changed from the beginning of the film, and now they're polar opposites from. So what's great too is the contrast from both of them. Their contrast was so different from the beginning. So like Tobey Maguire's soft voice, all the little soft shit that he did to blow up to this extreme is the complete opposite spectrum.
And also like Jake Gyllenhaal, when they were kids, was drowning in the river, and Tobey Maguire saved him.
Yeah.
That's the "I'm drowning, Tommy." Like,
No, yeah, 100%.
I needed you to save me from drowning.
Yeah.
Like, that's It's a great callback. Like,
No, it really is. Yeah.
For what a dog shit movie this was up until then, like the last half hour was excellent.
Yeah.
So Natalie finally reads the card, and she's smiling and crying, and like we hear some of the card, but nothing of too much substance. Just I love you. So sorry I never made it back to you.
Yeah.
Like that, which he kind of never did. Tobey Maguire calls. He's in like a military hospital or something, but he's also like he's under arrest kind of because you can't just shoot a gun in a residential neighborhood while cops are out there.
Yep.
He calls Tommy. He's like, "You're my brother, Tommy. I want you to know I love you and I appreciate everything you've done for me." And then it shows him. He's like walking out of the front door of the hospital and they're like, "All right, you know the routine, Captain Cahill. You get a half hour." They let him go out and stretch their legs. Natalie Portman's sitting there. It's a little park area on the campus. She's sitting there, and she's like, "I need you to tell me what happened. I've been in love with you since I was 16.
And if you don't tell me what happened, I'm leaving.
If you don't tell me what happened, we're never going to see each other again."
Yeah.
And I tells her, I killed John Willis. And they both, so he's not like showing emotion while he says this, but tears are running down his face.
Yeah, and then
he's
start
very
to hug.
stoic and calm, but he says, I killed John Willis. And they're crying, they hug each other, and the camera pans out, and Winter by U2 starts playing. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. I didn't like that that's all he said. I wish he would have said, "They forced me to." Like, I wish he would have went into detail, because for him just
So like, that's all semantics. That's all semantics. End of the day, he killed him.
I just don't like that.
Are they together now? Like, she's like, okay,
that too.
hug
Yeah,
you.
no, I
Like,
feel that. Yeah.
what the fuck happened there?
Yeah, what happens now?
Is it like, does he go to prison?
What happens to Jake Gyllenhaal?
Like that's, for as great as the last half hour of this movie was, like that, just all
They
those
could've added in,
unanswered.
like, 5 more minutes in at least.
Are Tobey Maguire and Natalie Portman just together, and he's gonna go back and they're gonna raise the kids together, and Jake Gyllenhaal's Uncle Tommy, is she with Jake Gyllenhaal now? Like, there's so much just unanswered. Like,
the girls get nothing.
Girls, nothing. They just,
the last thing you see is them crying their fucking
them
eyes out.
crying in their rooms while their dad's out front shooting a gun in the air.
Yeah, literally.
Like just horrible way that they just wrapped it up.
No, same. Yeah, I completely agree.
They rushed the beginning and they rushed the ending.
Yeah,
and the middle wasn't that great. And
I completely agree with you for all the other things that go with the ending that they didn't explain. But like, it just killed me that he just said, "I killed, the other guy, his private." But just like that, and I get it. Like, it's semantics. You're gonna.
Well, this is you're very defensive. You want to argue, and
but to me, it's like. You would want to express the fact that you were forced to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, maybe it's like she would assume that, because she knows that he's a good guy and everything.
Well, this is the first person he told.
Yeah,
he he never thought that he was gonna tell anybody that this happened.
Yeah,
and that's just how it came out.
No, true. But yeah, I wish they would have definitely lingered on more things at the end. Like, let us know what happens to this fucking family, because that's like the majority of what this is all about. It's not just about him expressing what he did in the war, you know what I'm saying, or like what he went through. It's not just about what he went through. It's about the family and all the the relationships. And it's like, well, what the fuck happens to the relationships? Like, that's what this whole movie's about.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens.
Yeah, that's the horrible way they wrap it up.
There's no resolution besides Toby's character getting his expression out. And no one really gives a fuck about that, because it doesn't have to deal with any of the relationships, Like, well, it does, but it doesn't, like, that doesn't say that what actually happens with the relationships from there. Like, yeah, he's expressing it. Yeah, he's going to become more of himself again from that. But, like, it doesn't tie into whether or not they're going to be together or what's going to happen to Jake's character or anything. So it's like, I feel like...
also, like, we don't, like... Are you allowed, like, do you go to prison for killing another military member with a metal pipe?
I doubt it.
Because the Taliban...
do it.
Yeah, but, like...
No, there's no way. He was forced to do that.
But, like, we have no idea. There's no way. Because, like, the video's gone. We don't know that he was forced to do it. So he just says he admits to doing it and that he was forced to do it. They're like, you probably fucking, like, you have no idea. So, like, that creates more questions for Tobey Maguire. We don't know if he and Natalie Portman are together. Don't know if she's with Jake Gyllenhaal. Like just what, like, how the fuck can you
end the movie?
Yeah, like how do you produce a movie, have the script, all this, and be like, we're just gonna leave all these unanswered questions.
And the things that are unanswered could be easily shot.
So easily.
Like we're talking about $26 million budget. You could have thrown in $10,000 more and got everything perfect that you wanted.
Also, a way better ending.
Yeah, and would have had a way better ending.
A way better ending would be just him killing himself on the front lawn, or the cops killing him. So like,
and then Jake ended up with them or something like that.
But so like, I imagine they didn't want to like have the PTSD.
I think the best thing that could have happened was Jake Gyllenhaal going to war and killing the dude with the glasses. Because for all we know, he's free and he's just killing more Americans.
That would have been horrible. You have bad ideas sometimes, man.
Bro, I would have loved that. Jake Gyllenhaal turned into a little badass.
That's a fucking army movie.
Yeah.
It's a different movie.
Well, it's better than what ended up happening at the end here. Because we don't fucking know what happened to this
relationship. You're hoping it's that fucking... What's the movie where Jake Gyllenhaal was in? Is it Syria? Is that the name of the movie?
No. You're talking about... it's right there. It's right on the tip of my fucking tongue.
Jordan. It's the name of a country, I believe.
Maybe it starts with a B or something like that.
Jake Gyllenhaal goes and he's like fighting in the Middle East.
Yeah,
you wanted it to be that movie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that movie could have had more action. Jarhead. It was called Jarhead.
Jarhead. Yeah, that's Jarhead's a Marine.
It was a good movie. I like that movie too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie could have had more action too. We should do that movie sometime. We should put that on the list.
Keep your fucking hands off the list. We are not doing Jarhead.
What?
Over my dead body.
What you got against
Jarhead?
Jarhead?
Do Jarhead. Fuck Jarhead. Can't do too much Gyllenhaal. Fuck Jarhead. Fuck Gyllenhaal.
We could do it later.
No.
Too much Afghanistan?
I will die before we do Jarhead.
Damn.
Yeah.
How about Land Before Time?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Like
Absolutely.
Littlefoot and shit, you know, right?
Yeah.
Littlefoot, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So guys, that is Brothers. Very disappointing. I remember when this trailer came out, seeing this and being like, "Oh, I'm fucking seeing that. That looks amazing." And then I just never did. And so disappointing.
Yeah.
So disappointing. I think a 6 is about right.
You know what's funny is, like, I keep thinking, well, we keep watching some, and just in general, there's a lot of movies that you think are like smaller budgets, you know, with just great actors, and that's what makes the movie, because there's, you know, low budget and they just have great actors. But no, they're worth $20 to $40 million budgets, and you know,
and then like this budget was more than Smoking Aces,
which is insane to me, dude. It blows my fucking mind. I'm like, dude, these actors are just getting overpaid, because if you took 1/10 of that budget and put it towards something else, you probably have even a better movie. You know what I'm saying?
Well, think if they put it towards the score. If they took some notes from The Village and got a better score,
come on,
there'd be no stopping them.
Yeah. The score makes half the movie.
Yeah, no, dude. At least half.
Yeah.
So, you don't need to watch Brothers. If you are going to watch Brothers, just like fast forward until there's like 30 minutes left.
Yeah, you just want to see
just watch
Tobey Maguire's scream. I'm telling you, it's good.
From him just fast forward like ice skating, so at least you have some groundwork where he's asking his brothers, like, did you fuck her? Fast forward to that, and then watch it through the end. You might...
Or maybe start from where he kills his private. Maybe there, because that's like, 10 minutes before?
Maybe. And then, like, just watch the whole movie at this point.
No, because that's more than halfway through.
We're going deep in, though. Just don't watch it, guys.
All right.
Just don't watch it.
I give it a 6.4. David gave it a 6.
It's a 6. That's being generous.
It's really just the acting. The acting was great, but the storyline and, like, just, like, little things, like the way they ended it and shit should have been different. They should have put more time into it. You know, I just feel like sometimes they're like, oh, well, fuck it. We got Jake and Toby and Natalie. We don't need an ending.
Yeah.
We don't need to spend more time and, you know, pre-production, making sure the writing and, you know, or in the post with editing. Fuck that. We got them.
Yeah,
they did great.
Just put it all in.
Yeah.
So guys, hopefully there's an episode next week. I know we say every motherfucking Monday.
Yep.
My co-host just told me, he's like, oh, I'm going to the Smoky Mountains, and I leave like tomorrow.
Yeah, my mom's figuring it out. It was just her birthday, and she's figuring out when we're leaving. So
I mean, hopefully we're able to do an episode before he leaves.
yeah,
If not, Braden's sorry.
yeah. I'm sorry if that happens.
No, if not, we'll do it middle of the week next week when Braden gets back, and then we'll be back to every motherfucking Monday after that.
Yeah. So David, what movie are we doing? What's the next movie we're doing?
Doing Lakeview Terrace, starring Samuel L. Jackson. It's a great movie.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
I'm guessing he takes Lake by hostage, huh?
Are gonna love it. No, Samuel L. Jackson's a police officer in this movie. It's fantastic. You're gonna love it.
Dope.
Highly encourage everyone to watch it. It is available on Hulu and Sling TV with a premium subscription.
Oh, Sling! Look at that.
It's also available on TNT and TBS. If you have a cable package that has TNT and TBS, should be able to watch it.
Nice.
Or you can rent it. You can rent it on Vudu or Amazon Prime Video for $2.99. Or if you want to spend an extra $1, you can rent it on YouTube, Google Play, or Apple TV for $3.99. So check it out. Highly recommend watching it. I do not recommend watching Brothers. Very disappointing. But hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast. Check out Lakeview Terrace, and hopefully we're coming back at you guys next Monday. If not, we'll see you midweek next week.
Yep. And don't forget, every motherfucking Monday.
Hopefully every motherfucking Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully.
What are you gonna? We just talked about how it might not be next Monday, and you're gonna be like, but let me say how it's every motherfucking Monday.
Just in case, just in case we do get it out that Monday, I don't wanna miss my chance of saying every motherfucking Monday. You know what I'm saying, David?
Thanks for listening, guys.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Palm Beach County, that's where I'm from. When niggas get gunned down and left slump, we dumb just for fucking round. This ain't the county for you bitches to come around.